Hello everyone, I am Anne Gabriel Longhoko and I will be with you for tonight as your co-host. I describe myself as the mediocre writer from National University, Manila. It is another night for us to learn and engage ourselves with how wonderful knowledge and wisdom can be when applied. The objective of this channel is to promote the feminine genius advocacy. One of the many goals is woman empowerment and gender equality through education and livelihood. One way to educate is by inviting guests of any gender who will impart their personal journey, challenges, and breakthroughs that will give invaluable learnings to viewers. By becoming a guest, he or she is tagged as the friend of the feminine genius. Tonight, we will have another co-host, Miss Ella Wans, who is an IT specialist, research coordinator, an educator, a vlogger, a practitioner, and she also promotes the Team Helpful to help newbie YouTubers. Miss Ella Wans is also an industry practitioner, researcher, and soon to be a doctor of information technology and financial advisor. And now let's welcome our host for tonight, Dr. Ria Liza C. Canlas, who is a civil engineer, materials engineer, and patent agent. Dr. Ria also promotes the feminine genius as a female making impact in male-dominated industries such as construction, manufacturing, and creatives. She was also featured in several media outfits as an ASEAN designer and a woman in science. Dr. Ria is an industry practitioner, educator, researcher, innovator, inventor, technologist, scientist, entrepreneur, patent professional, and science communicator. Together, let's welcome Dr. Ria Liza and Miss Ella Wans.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone. Yes. Welcome to my channel, Dr. Ria Liza, and always at your service. And this channel is meant to promote the feminine genius advocacy, and our membership packages are also the attributes of the feminine genius. Medyo maingay lang, no? Medyo may konting ingay. Okay, I think there's a, yeah. And then the attributes of a feminine genius are humility, kindness, patience, good character, industry, virtue, piety, and devotion. And as a feminine genius, I spread lessons and insights by featuring people from my personal network of any gender to share their personal journeys, their challenges, and their breakthroughs. Because we believe that listening to other people's story is called humility, and sharing is called generosity. We are somehow influenced by the lives of other people that we can apply in our own selves. Remember, life is short. Let us live our lives to the fullest, and let us be inspired by our guests. Hello, Ella Wans.
Hi, Ma'am Ria. Good evening. Ayan. May a love shoutout po kay Doc Ria. And of course, sa mga viewers po ni Ma'am Ria dito po sa, ayan, nag-shoutout po sila sa live chat. So,
Yeah. Medyo ano lang, Ella, no? Parang maingay ka sa background ngayong araw na to. Only for today. Ngayong araw lang na ito, ikaw ay maingay. Okay. So, habang pinisix
how
ni
about this
Ella,
one,
ayan.
ma'am? How about this time?
Ayan, sige, okay na. Sige.
Medyo okay naman? Wala na
Okay
yung
na,
mga
medyo okay na,
sounds
oo.
ng TV.
O siguro masyadong ano lang, malakas ang aking, what you call this, audio ngayon, no? But Ella, we are live in FB page, The Feminine Genius, and we are reaching about 20,000 plus members on our Feminine Genius page. And our FB groups, the Feminine Genius Groups Philippines, sana no yung 20,000 plus natin nanonood sa atin on our live. And of course, for the Feminine Genius brand development and direction, this is brought to you by no other than Bon Labora, our Agos Maharlika. And of course, coming very soon is our book, The Feminine Genius Meets, wherein my co-author is our co-host, the mediocre writer, of course, Miss Anne. No? Mamimiss natin si Anne to date at tonight because may problema siya sa internet this evening. Mukhang bukas pa i-fix ng PLDT yung kanyang internet. And by the way, our book is to be published by Agimat Publishing, also owned by Mr. Bon Labora. All right, Ella, ikaw, kamusta ka?
Ayan, of course, ma'am. I'm okay. Ayan, except po sa audio ko ngayon, kung may background voice ako narinig mo, baka sa TV namin. Ayan, so,
Mukhang na bago. Ang lakas yata ng reception ng ano mo ngayon, ng headset mo.
kasi ma'am, naka-PC ako ngayon. So, ang pinalitan ko lang is yung camera. Medyo maliwalas na siya. Hindi ka katulad ng dati, naka-zoom ako. Hindi ako makita nila ng virtual background. So, ayan. Kamusta si Ma'am Ria din?
I'm always fine, Ella. And medyo ano lang ngayon, no? What happened today. In the past few weeks, no, there's of course a political and war that is a political unrest, and what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Medyo naa-addict ako manood, no. I'm always watching every talaga nag-aabang ako ng bawat minuto na update. Napupuyat ako kababasa ng mga history, bakit nagkaganon, bakit may ganito. So, let us all together, not lahat tayo, sana we always pray for peace, not war.
Yes, tama yun, Bia, and pagpatuloy mo yan. At sa lahat ng mga viewers mo, no, I hope so, isama natin sa prayer din yung nangyayari ngayon sa Russia and Ukraine. So, by the way, sa lahat po na nandito ngayon, mega love shoutout po sa Team Helpful and sa mga early birds na nag-shoutout po dito sa live chat po ng live streaming ni Dr. Ria Liza. Kamusta kayong lahat? I hope so na nasa mabuti rin kayong situation. And sa mga hindi ko po member pala dyan, by the way, don't forget po, magpa-member po kayo kay Dr. Ria Liza na naaayon po sa personality ninyo yung kanyang perks. Ayan. Pwede po kayong pumili just by clicking on the join button po. If you visit her channel, may makikita tayong join po na icon or word na caption. You may just click on that and then makikita niyo po yung mga options po ninyo, no, kung saan po kayo nag-click. And by the way, marami pong benefits ang members ni Dr. Ria Liza. So one of that is of course, magiging part po kayo sa kanyang mga livelihood projects po no, for the women empowerment. So, by the way, ang The Feminine Genius po ay hindi lang po para sa girls. Pwede rin po ito sa mga male genius po and yung mga Generation Z na mga young generations natin ngayon na genius din. And, of course, I would like to also reiterate no, na meron po tayong pa-attendance po every Saturday. So, sa lahat po ng mga viewers po natin dyan na nasa Facebook Live ng The Feminine Genius po and sa YouTube channel ni Dr. Ria Liza, please don't forget po to shout out your name kung hindi po naka-prepare po yung inyong name sa Facebook para maisama po kayo sa attendance po natin today kasi magiging entry niyo po ang bawat attendance niyo every Saturday para sa pa-raffle po ni Maria on December. May pa-grand LS po yan si Maria and grand raffle on Christmas. Kaya galante po yan si Ma'am. So, as usual, we also have short game later and have fun with our guests. And it's a Pinoy Henyo game. So, we will ask the viewers to guess 5 significant words that our guest mentioned during the presentation. So, there will be a GCash prizes to be given to the winners and the amount will be based on the number of viewers. So please invite for your friends to watch the live streaming of Dr. Ria Liza every Saturday from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. So please don't forget also to give thumbs up po kay Dr. Ria and always subscribe kapag may bago po kayong account dyan at may iba kayong gadget dyan na may Gmail. Please don't forget to visit YouTube and ilog in niyo po yung Gmail niyo sa YouTube. And then, please don't forget to watch muna the video of Dr. Ria Liza and subscribe after watching. And please don't forget to like and then i-bell niyo po siya para po notify kayo lagi kapag may bago siyang vlog. So, ayan. So, by the way, Dr. Ria Liza has been going live every Saturday po yan. And today is our episode number 71 po. Ayan, huwag niyo pong kalimutan yan ha. Kasi
74. Actually, 74 na.
74 ba hindi ba updated to? Thank you
Updated.
for
74. Oo.
Ayan. So, please don't forget to subscribe us, ha? Huwag yung idama niyo rin po si Ella Ones. Ayan. Dr. Ria Liza po ang channel ni Ma'am. And Ella Ones naman, yours truly. So, feel free to write your questions, by the way, on the comment section later para po mag-participate kayo sa Pinoy Henyo po ng ating guest. So, ayan, Ma'am Ria, ano po ba ang pwede nating i-recall or i-highlight po sa last week natin na episode?
Yeah, last week, of course, it's the Tiger MD, no? We have Leovic, di ba? Last week, wherein we discussed so much about leadership. Yun ang endpoint last week Ella, no? Leadership. When we have this Leovic, who's a tycoon when it comes to a name when it comes to the semiconductor industry, holding 2,000 people na nagluluto siya ng steak, di ba? For his people. By the way, Ella, for now we have 230 plus watchers on Facebook.
Wow.
And plus hindi pa
YouTube.
kasama hindi pa dito kasama yung nanonood sa atin sa ano no sa YouTube. Lipat po tayo sa YouTube para masaya. Opo,
Yes.
mas masaya kung lilipat kayo din sa YouTube kasi masarap ang kwento. Anyways, Facebook, YouTube pareho din. Pero mas masaya sana no kung nandito tayo sa YouTube.
Para
Okay.
they can easily interact us. By the way,
Yes.
ma'am, congratulations. No? You have a lot of views sa live streaming mo din last Saturday and sa iyong vlog. Ang daming views. Sabi ko, wow, I was watching this morning. Oh, na-surprise ako, ang daming views. Ganun pala ka-attractive yung guest mo na si Sir. So, maybe, surprisingly, no? Hopefully, itong guest mo ngayon, napaka-ano din, parang kakaiba ang personality mo, may research ako sa kanya. Ay, lagi ko napapanood sa TV pala ito.
Yes, yung guest natin yun ay palaging nasa TV. Siyempre,
Yes.
sino ba naman ang hindi makakakilala sa kanya kung palagi siya ang nagbibigay ng advice, yung group nila sa IATF, no? Pero medyo na late kasi siya, so we just have to keep up dahil alam mo naman ng mga katulad nila na nakabantay sa mga statistics around us, sa mga numero na nakikita natin. So madami din silang mga kinakausap, no? Lalo na kapag may mga matters about the deciding kung tayo ba ay magiging alert level what, no? Pero Ella, no, ang balita ko, tanungin natin 'to mamaya sa kanya kasi ang balita ko, alert level 1 na tayo by March 1, di ba? So, hindi pa natin alam yan kung mangyayari yan. So, titignan natin, pwede nating alamin, i-update, tanong natin siya, magiging alert level 1 na ba? Gaano katagal kaya ang projection ng pagiging alert level 1? At tayo ay malamang na ba mapunta na talaga sa tinatawag na new normal, wala nang alert level. Tayo ba ay babalik na sa new normal? Actually, wala nang balikan sa old normal. There's no such thing as an old normal. What we can see is a new normal, no, wherein the COVID is only considered as a regular flu. Di ba, no, Ella?
Yes. Sana nga, ma'am, no, magtuloy-tuloy na wala na pong mga alert na ganyan. Kasi nakakakaba kasi pag bumalik ko naman doon sa alert level 4, di ba? Parang mating na tayo sa alert level 3, parang ang hirap ng pag-iba sa pumabas. So, ayan. I hope so na mag-stay po kayo until tapos po yung episode natin tonight. And habang may oras pa po, ayan, maghanap na tayo ng mga friendship. Invite your friends and yung mga colleagues natin dyan and yung mga dati nating katropa. please invite them to watch the live streaming of Dr. Ria Liza po. Para naman masaya tayo, no, na habang nakikinig may natututunan at the same time. Mag-enjoy po tayo sa Pinoy Handicapper. Ayan. So, makiisa po tayo sa chikahan po with Dr. Ria Liza kasi ang nag-iisa lang po ito. Ayan.
Yes, oo. So, maybe makakapag-shoutout ka na muna ngayon, no, Ella?
Yeah, of course. Ayan. So actually, ang aga-aga po ni Kasnel TV, Team Helpful One. Ayan, 2:30 p.m. pa lang mag-shoutout po siya dito sa live streaming ni Maria sa live chat. So, big love shoutout po kay Katniel, team from the Team Helpful po, and also kay Domingo Sanil. Good evening, sabi niya, ayan. Big love shoutout din po kay Sir Javier Centeno. And from the Facebook user, ayan, big love shoutout po. Happy DTV, hashtag helpful. Good evening po sa lahat. Ayan. Thank you so much, Happy. Ayan. I hope you will always make us happy. And hopefully, Sir Ronel will come and join us tonight. And then, magandang gabi, sabi ni Kathleen TV from Team Helpful. Ayan, may harang daw. Thank you sa pag-claim sa harang ni Dr. Liza. And our host po, shouting also to all of you, good evening to all, and good evening to all from the Feminine Genius po ng Facebook group. And hello everyone. Ayan, shoutout po ng Facebook user natin. And also, nandito po si Michelle Gomez. Ayan, hello. Ayan, nagkalap shoutout po Michelle Gomez. Thank you for tuning in. And happy DTV, hashtag helpful. Thank you for using the energy of Dr. Ria Liza. Thank you sa pamember mo rin kay Dr. Ria. Sana all may magpamember pa, no? And mixed videos and vlogs by Mr. Phil. Ayan, hello. Ayan. Good evening from Michelle Gomez. And nakapag-like na daw po si Kathniel. Thank you. Sana matagdagan po ang thumbs up po ni Ma'am Ria. And from Erlinda Cadillo, ayan, good evening po sa lahat, Ma'am Ria, Ma'am Ella, virtual hug. Thank you so much po, Mami Erlinda Cadillo. And si Ma'am Kat, finally, nakita ko na, hinahanap ko talaga yung name niya kanina. Nag-along shoutout to all, sabi ni Ma'am Kat. Ayan. And B. Centeno Kurt. Ayan, thank you, Kurt, for tuning in. Harang po. Hello po, good evening po. Thank you so much, Kurt, for tuning in. Namiss ka namin.
Miss you,
Ayan.
Kurt. Miss
Ayan,
you,
namiss
miss you,
ka.
Kurt. Oo.
Ayun, namiss ka ni Ma'am Ria. Namiss ka namin lahat. Good evening po, Ma'am Ria and Ma'am Ella from Ma'am Kat. Ayan. Hi, Kurt, sabi ni Ma'am Kat. Hello po, Ma'am Kat from Kurt. And mega love shoutout po sis Happy from Ma'am Kat. And on and off ang globe signal daw ni Ma'am Kat ngayon. Kaya may pa-cry emoji siya dyan. Kailan yan, ma'am? Babalik at babalik din yung signal. You get this from Katniel TV. I hope, please don't forget po, ayahin natin yung mga friendship natin, no, to listen kasi mahalaga po ang discussion din na may share sa atin ng ating guest po, no, ni Dr. Ria tonight kasi madalas natin siya napapanood sa TV. So, malay natin, no, yung learnings po natin, madagdagan na naman at the same time, magagamit din natin siya, may apply natin siya. Kasi very useful po ang learnings natin, especially during this new normal po na situation. So, I hope na dagdagan po natin ang ating palike po natin dyan kay Ma'am Ria. And huwag po natin kalimutan mag-invite ng friendship. Ayan, para malay natin, no, mabot tayo ng 100 viewers ngayon. So, alam nyo ba, may condition na si Ma'am. The prices po sa kanyang Pinoy Henyo po ay nakadepende po yan sa number of viewers. So, maka 100 lang tayo. Ay, clarity nyo na yan. Sigurado ako. Mataas po ang pa-Gcash ni Ma'am Ria sa mga mananalo po sa Pinoy Henyo. At mali natin, may pa-bonus pa yun sila. May pa-coffee pa yun na version. So, ano pang hinihintay natin? Ayan, hanggat meron pang mga friendship dyan na may mga extra devices. Ayan, papuntahin nyo sila kay Ma'am Ria and para marami po tayong kachikahan dito at may maka-interact po tayo, no, na iba't ibang ideas din po, especially sa guest na kapag-interact din. Shoutout daw po, sabi ni Katniel TV. Shoutout, Katniel TV. Sure. Ayan, may kalam shoutout sa'yo, sis Katniel TV. And sabi ni Ma'am Kat, Dan, share din po, ma'am. Thank you so much, Ma'am Kat. You can actually share sa lahat ng Team Helpful ha, ng mga YouTubers. You can share the link of Dr. Ria Liza's LS po doon sa inyong community tab para po marami po kayong, kung sakaling marami na kayong mga YouTube friends, ayan, they can actually easily click on the link of Ma'am Ria kapag nakashare po siya sa community ninyo. And aside from that, meron din po tayong Facebook community, di ba? So meron tayo, we can paste to our wall and you can share also to our friends sa Facebook and sa IG and sa Twitter. Wow, bongga! Ano sa Twitter? Ewan ko kung gusto ko ba sa iyo on Twitter at saka IG. Kasi mga young generations talaga doon gusto sa kanila kayo.
Yeah, na doon talaga sila. Eh, no? Yes. Oo.
Yeah.
Oh, well, dyan si Kurt. We have 200 plus now on Facebook. Sana lipat tayo sa YouTube, no? Well, kakachat lang sa akin ni Doc Guido. He's still in a meeting. It's a meeting with a very important meeting. So, hintayin lang natin kung anong oras siya matatapos sa meeting niya right now. No, intindihin natin because you know the role of Octa Research when it comes to the safety of the Filipino people. Kaya mamaya guys, tanungin niyo siya. Lahat na itanong niyo, baka masagot niya. May mga virus pa ba? Most likely lang virus pa na ang posibleng dumating sa atin, no? At meron pa bang mga kakaharapin tayong mga problema. Okay, so I think our guest has already arrived, no? Um, ano lang tayo, wait lang ha. Tingnan ko dito. Pwede ko na siyang nakita ko na sa backstage ang ating guest. So it's an opportune time to ask him, no, lahat ng mga ano bang ano ba ang mga challenges ng isang katulad niya, no, na that support our government in terms of decision making. Okay? So um I think Sir Guido is ready. Introduce na natin. Okay.
Sige ma'am, ayan, excited na tuloy kami. Ayan, hello
Uh,
sis Choppy.
So hello sa ating 200 plus viewers sa Facebook. Lipat po tayo and mas konti na overway yan ng ng Facebook yung ating YouTube. Sana magsilipat, sana dumami rin yung nasa YouTube. Lipat po tayo dito sa YouTube but okay lang dyan sa Facebook. Pwede rin kayo magtanong dyan. Kaya lang we have a delay at saka kailangan i-type yung pangalan nyo para makita natin kung sino nagko-comment sa Facebook. Yun lang yung downside ng ng Facebook, no. You have to allow the permission to permission to StreamYard to show your name. Pag hindi sineshow yung name. Kaya minsan ang daming mga comments galing from Facebook, hindi natin nababasa. Okay? It's because nga, ganun yung nangyayari. Meron privacy, parang meron data privacy agreement. Okay? So, nawala ulit siguro intermittent pa. Ayan. Okay, now, so, I hope our guest is already stable with his uh, connection. All right, so the time has come for us to introduce our guest for tonight. Welcome to today's episode. The Feminine Genius meets Doc Octa with the theme How a Mathematician Helped in the Pandemic. This is Late Night with Dr. Ria Liza featuring Up Close and Personal with Professor Guido David. During the pandemic, he became very popular due to his group's scientific assistance to the IATF. Learn from a fellow of Octa Research, a professor of mathematics in the University of the Philippines Diliman, and an adjunct faculty with the ASEAN Institute of Management. He holds a Ph.D. in biomedical engineering, Masters of Science in Mathematics degree from Texas A&M University, and holds an MS in Actuarial Science from University of the Philippines. A board member of Remote Area Medical Philippines, and CEO of Diliman Artificial Intelligence. A recipient of the Outstanding Young Scientist Award in 2010 and a co-host at the Pinoy Scientist radio program of DZEC Radyo Agila 1062 kilohertz Metro Manila. Let us give a virtual applause to Professor Guido. Tingnan natin kung mai-up na natin siya. Wait lang guys ha. Mhm. Baka meron pa siyang internet issue. I think meron pang internet issue si Doc Guido. Doc Octa. Okay.
Yan. So, ma-joke
Oo.
yung internet niya ngayon lang. So, dahil dyan, nabatiin ko muna si Sis Choppy, my love. Thank you so much sa pa-angel natin dyan. Sana pumasok din si Maine. Pauline Stevie, mega love shoutout. Thank you so much sa ating pa-angel ng cat. Tangsakdan din po ito, ma'am. Ayan. Thank you so much. Dalawa na naka-video po sa'yo, Doc Ria, from Happy TV. Thank you, Happy. And ayan, nandito rin ayan, si Pauline Stevie pala yan. Shout out. Ayan. So, sa lahat po ng Team Helpful, ayan, nakisuyo ako. Punta na kayo dito sa live streaming ni Dr. Ria Liza. Ayan, inaabangan namin no, ang inyong pa-shoutout dyan no, at support. Ayan. May ganang shoutout to all din po from Kat. Ay, thank you, Kat. Thank you sa ating pa-angel dyan. Sabi ko, bakit may cat tapos may mom cat? Ayan, thank you so much sa ating ka-angel po, no? Kanina may premiere si mom cat. Ayan, nakita ko lang nag-pop out sa training kami. Saktong patapos na po yung training namin. So, na-chat ko si mom, ay mom, punta tayo kay mom cat. Meron siya, may premiere. So, si Sis Choppy na naabutan ko rin mag-premiere kanina. Sisipag yung mag-premiere, sana all. 2 linggo na ako hindi nakapag-premiere, sayang. Pero anyway, at least natapos ko naman yung aking compre na at the same time yung aking um, yung final
Compre.
exams ng mga bata.
Tapos mo na yun.
Yung mga
Ako
grades
kasi,
ng project, tapos na rin.
my premiere is every Monday, 2 p.m. and every Tuesday, 6:15 p.m. Ikaw, Ella, anong
Sana
schedule na ngayon?
all. Every
Ayun,
Friday po ang
premiere.
aking premiere po, 3:45 p.m. Abangan niyo po yan. Mag-premiere na ako this coming Friday, next week. Sigurado na po yan. And I hope so, huwag kayong mawawala. 3:45 p.m. Please support. And kay Dr. Ria po, every Monday po yun, 2 p.m. And Tuesday, 6:15 p.m. So, sana po nandun tayo to support her also. And sa lahat din po ng mga taga-team helpful, ayan, sana maaya rin natin ang ating mga friendship dito ngayon kasi maganda po ang pag-uusapan natin with the guest. And medyo ma-joke yung po yung internet niya ngayon. So, counting intay lang po at saka shoutout kayo dyan. Ayan, shoutout namin kayo. Pwede kayong magtanong dyan at magpasaya din no, ng ating mga co-viewers. Ayan,
By the way, we
mamimili
have,
natin.
ang dami natin viewers sa YouTube. Sa Facebook, we have 500 plus, 500
Wow!
plus, almost 600 viewers on the Facebook. Lipat po tayo dito sa YouTube. I think, mga friend, baka friends to ng ating guest, no?
Mm.
500 plus, 560 plus.
Please type Dr. Ria Liza sa YouTube channel po niya. Sa YouTube URL. Tapos, type po natin, i-search po natin sa YouTube yung Dr. Ria Liza para po
Okay.
may direct interaction po tayo dito po sa kanyang channel, sa live chat po ng channel Dr. Ria Liza.
Alright, I think Doc Guido is ready. Na-introduce na natin siya properly kanina, kaya lang nawala siya sa internet. Hello sa ating 600 plus viewers I hope that we can already nawawala talaga si sir, 'no? Papasok ko na sana siya, biglang nawala na naman siya sa backstage. Okay, hintay-hintay lang natin. Alright, sige lang, Ella.
Ayun. So, once again, please transfer po from Facebook to YouTube. So, all you have to do is type www.youtube.com and then i-search po natin si Dr. Ria Liza. So, please don't forget to click login po. Kung meron po kayong Gmail, from your Chrome or any browser, kung meron kayong Gmail, login niyo po yan. And then proceed on youtube.com and then click login lang or sign in. Automatic po yun, meron po kayong immediate channel and all you have to do is search Dr. Ria Liza para po makapag-interact kayo dito sa live chat ni Dr. Ria Liza sa kanyang channel at may chance po kayo na mananalo po sa kanyang Pinoy Henry later. So, baloy natin kasi Ma'am Ria, umawag na ng 500, baka magpa 1,000. Price yan si Ma'am sa Pinoy Henry niya.
Yan is
My
kung
gosh.
kailangan lumipat sila
Kailangan,
sa YouTube,
kailangan
Ella.
sa YouTube
Oo,
lumipat.
kailangan lumipat sila. Kasi yun yung monetize, di ba? Oo, hindi tayo monetize sa Facebook. Kasi, kaya we have more viewers on Facebook dahil mas madali sa kanilang mag-click, no? Siguro
Yes.
tinatamad na silang lumipat sa YouTube, kaya ayun, nandun na sila sa Facebook. Pwede po tayo lumipat sa YouTube, type lang natin si Dr. Ria Liza. At makikita nyo na yung live streaming natin. So, pasok
Yes.
natin si Doc Guido, baka pwede na tayo. No, nawawala na naman. Ayan, nawala ulit siya.
Yes. Actually, madali lang po pumasok sa YouTube. All you have to do is, ayan, i-prepare niyo po yung browser and gagamitin niyo. Type www.youtube.com and then click sign in. Tapos search niyo na si Dr. Yanisa. Please, transfer kayo para mali natin mo. Magpapa 1,000 ano si Ma'am Ria. Sa price niya.
1,000 per 1,000
Per
yun
correct
per
answer.
question, no? Per correct question. Kaya kailangan lumipat po tayo sa YouTube. Yung mga 500 plus nating viewers sa Facebook, lipat tayo sa YouTube para mas masaya. Okay.
Yes.
So, try natin si Doc Guido kung may papasok natin. Doc, pasok na kita ha sa stage. Hello po, Doc Guido. Ay, nawala na naman siya.
Yun. Mega love shoutout po kay Rosemary Lasho. Ayan, good evening to all. Ayan, hello Rose. Thank you for tuning in. Ayain mo rin si Pachuchay mag-tune in para mali natin, no? Pagalingan mamaya ng pag-type sa Pinoy Henyo, mananalo kayo. And, ayan, si Kat. Thank you sa ating pa-ninja dyan. Baka may iba pa kayong pa-ninja dyan. Pa-angel natin kay Maria. Please don't forget to thumbs up Dr. Ria Liza and subscribe. And idamay niyo rin po ang ating Hello Ones na channel. If you like and subscribe to Dr. Ria Liza, ayan, isunod niyo po si Hello Ones. Mega love shoutout po sa inyong lahat. Invite ko lang pala na mag-invite ako sa aking friend na ka-partner ni Happy. Tingnan natin kung wala siyang meeting ngayon.
By the way, Ella, bago ko ayan, tine-check ko lang kung may papasok ko ang ating guest si Doc Octa. Bago ko ipasok si Doc Octa, guys, March, kung may naaalala kayo, ano ang pinagdidiwang natin tuwing March, guys? Pa-type nga. Ano ang sineselebrate natin tuwing March? Ano ang sineselebrate natin tuwing March? Type, guys, kung naalala niyo po, ano yung sineselebrate natin? Women's Month! Yes! Tamang sakto si Ma'am Kat.
Yes,
Women's Month! Okay.
Thank you,
So, expect empowered women to be our guest on 4 Saturdays of March. At syempre, magpapamigay tayo ng wish. Naalala ko na naman yung utang na wish ng ng past guest natin with Chop, pagka mag-alala, Chop, nag-usap na kami ni Ella dyan. Si Dr. Ria Liza na, si Feminine Genius na yung sasagot ng wish na yon. Kasi ang sumasagot ng wish natin yung guest eh. Kaya maghanda kayo next week, no? Magbibigay tayo ng mechanics kung paano. Basta every week bubunot tayo ng mga wisher. Tapos meron tayong wish fulfiller. Yung mga wish fulfiller natin ay yung mga guests natin. We have 4 empowered women guests by next month. Okay. Sir Guido, akit kita, sir, ah. Ayan. Good evening, Doc Guido, Doc Octa. Ikaw po ay nailagay ko na sa stage, pero naglo-load ang iyong internet. Loading pa. So wait natin habang naglo-load si Doc Guido. So tandaan nyo guys, kaya huwag kayong mawawala next week kasi pag wala, walang wish. At saka yung wish this time, tatanungin natin si guess kung ibibigay niya yung wish na yon. Okay? Kasi syempre, kung nag-wish, di kailangan sabihin niya kung ibibigay niya yung wish, kung hindi niya ibibigay, baka ako magbigay. Pag hindi ko bibigay, bunot ng panibagong wish. Kasi baka mamaya mag-wish kayo ng kotse, bahay. Eh, syempre mga hindi naman, dapat mga simple wishes. Simple wishes that will make you happy during the Women's Month. We have 700 plus viewers
Wow,
right now.
China, lipat kayo sa
700
YouTube.
plus. Lipat po tayo sa YouTube. Pag lumipat kayo, ang saya ng ating Pinoy Henyo later.
Sinubukan
Okay.
mo rin namin, no? Ganun karami
Yeah,
ang viewers sa YouTube.
we have so many viewers ngayon on our YouTube. So, ayan, naglo-load pa rin, continuously loading si Doc Octa. Nasa labas pa kasi siya, no, dahil may meeting siya. So, hindi, at stable lang kanyang internet. Ayan, nakikita naman natin siya na naglo-load siya. So, we wait till okay na. So, ayun nga, mukhang abot tayo ng 1,000, Ella.
Oo,
Nakaka-800 plus na
syempre.
tayo.
Wala pa yun,
800
hindi pa siya nag-discuss niyan, ma'am, ha?
kasi nagdi-discuss ako sana, ay natural, no? Wait lang po tayo. Nagkataon lang na talagang may problema lang sa internet. Yan si Sir Guido, nakikita na natin siya sa stage, no? Kaya lang loading, no? Ella, nakikita mo naman, di ba?
Yeah.
Loading. So, wait lang natin si Doc Guido. So, anyways, to all our viewers, no? Month of the Women's Month. March is Women's Month. And because this is Feminine Genius and we promote advocacy on women, therefore, our guests on March are all empowered women. Ayan, nagtetest na si Sir Guido sa chat eh. Hello sir, eto chat nakikita ko, no? We have 4 Sundays of March and all of them are empowered women and we will grant a wish every Saturday. Kaya mag, mag-wish tayo, mag-ready tayo ng wish na simple happiness. Yan, mga simple happiness wish. Okay? Kaya prepared tayo. So if we will recall what happened last year, Ella, may mga wish tayo na grant last year, like I would like to shout out Engineer Arlene Mafnas. Siya yung ating guest nung ang kanya siya ay isa sa mga Mapua Core of Sponsors. So ang nabunot niya, swerte kasi nakakuha ng cellphone. Okay, all away from US. Nagpadala siya ng pambili ng cellphone actually. Okay, doon sa tao and then pinapicturean yon, pinadala sa kanya to be sure that nakabili talaga ng cellphone. No? And then we have, of course, I think sino yung natin, yung nakakuha ng dental services?
Ayan si Rosemary Lasho, yung shout out ko, good evening to all. Siya.
Ay, hello Rose. O, ayan, nakikita ko si Rose. Si Rose, Rose, di ba? Ikaw yung unang-unang wisher na nakakuha ng wish last year. Ano pinaalala mong wish last year, Ella?
I think yung kay Kurt, nabigay ba yung kay
Ay,
Kurt?
yung kay Kurt parang hindi rin nabigay no Kurt kasi ang binigay ni Kurt business eh.
Business kasi ang
A
laki.
small business, oo. A small business, so
Puhulan yata
may,
yun sa kanya, ma'am. Oo. Siguro,
ay ang naka
500 or 2,000 or 1,000 will do
oo,
para sa
medyo
puhunan
nabigatan
niya.
kasi sa small business, oo.
Baka hindi niya ma-anticipate. Ano pa yan? Small
Oo, yan no, sabi
business
niya
para
wala
kay
daw,
Kurt.
oo. Bal business, oo. Parang medyo nahirapan yata si wish fulfiller na yung business, no? Okay, so siguro yung gagawin nating wishes by next week. Yung mga simple happiness wishes, no?
Oo.
Sino pa ba? I'm trying to recall kasi I know that there are five nga nangyari kasi sumingit nga yung Philippine um, Association of
Oo.
University Women of Power. Doon nabunot si Prof. That's a Sunday, it's not a Saturday. Kasi nag-special event tayo ng PAW, no? Eto yata si Sir, di siya makapasok.
Pwede ba si Sir,
Oo.
ma'am, i-call mo siya sa messenger and then yun ang i-share mo, ma'am. Baka mas malinaw din. Katulad ng isang guest mo dati.
Paano gagawin?
I-call mo siya sa messenger and then i-share mo dito, ma'am.
Oo, Sir. Sir Guido, o sige.
Try lang
Sige,
natin.
mag-shoutout ka muna sa mga guest natin.
Oo.
Kausapin ko si Sir. Oo.
Kasi mas clearly din yung gano'n ngayon natin. Ayan, mega love shoutout pala dito kay Collins TV. Ayan, nakita kita. Thank you so much po sa ating ka-agent ng Pat and Pat Steves. And also, Happy BTV, hashtag helpful. And thank you nung Pat sa sagot mo kanina na napakabilis mo sumagot na Women's Month po ang ating celebrate po for the month of March. Ayan, parang namamaos ako. Napansin ko lang yung boses ko ngayong araw nito. Parang ano siya, naging matining. Ayan, so, also kay Kurt, may ganang shoutout sa'yo, Kurt. I hope so na lagi ka na magsusupport na every Saturday kasi namiss ka namin. And Mami Erlinda Cadillo, ayan. And Sir Javier Centeno, thank you so much sa ating pa-emoji dyan. Tama yan, thumbs up po. Thank you so much. Sana all the wish should be granted. Thank you. Ayan, don't worry, Mami Erlinda Cadillo. Ayan, gagawa namin ng paraan po yan. Yung wish mo ay talagang makukuha mo. And also, Noli Batuto. Ayan, harang po na ninja ni Kurt. Thank you, Kurt, sa paninja natin dyan, sa pa-enjoy mo kay Maria. Thankful po kami no, sa inyo na very supportive mo every Saturday kay Dr. Ria Liza. And sa lahat po ng viewers po ni Maria sa Facebook ng The Feminine Genius Guide. Please, lipat po kayo sa YouTube channel ni Dr. Ria Liza. All you have to do is sign in your Gmail sa youtube.com and then research niyo po sa YouTube Dr. Ria Liza. Ayan. So, kapag po umabot tayo ng at least 100 viewers po or 500 viewers dito po sa YouTube channel ni Maria, 1,000 po ang top prize ni Maria sa bawat tamang sagot sa kanyang Pinoy Henyo mamaya per question. So, ano kung hinihintay natin? Lipat na tayo dito sa YouTube. Dali na. Ayan. Harang po, Ninja ni Kurt. Thank you. Trokisik Kento. Ayan. Ayan. Thank you so much, Kurt, sa pa-angel natin dyan. And sa lahat po na may mga friendship po dyan na mga wala namang ginagawa. At may mga double or triple or maraming gadgets na sa bahay. Ayan. Sabihan niyo sila to tune in to Dr. Yalisa po. Kahit yung dalawang gadget na lang, kung hindi naman busy. At nang may, of course, may makuha tayong something po no, sa discussion po tonight with her guest. And for sure po marami tayong alam na naman ang madagdag. Ma'am Ria, ayan, dito ako sa pala si Ma'am Ria, no? Akala ko nag-interview na siya. So, of course, hindi po mawawala dito ngayon ang ating friend po na si Choppy. Ayan, Choppy's World. I hope so na ma-remind niyo yung mga friendship po natin dyan sa Team Helpful to tune in and give thumbs up po sa ating host na si Dr. Ria Liza. And of course, pag-shoutout po dito para may isang po kayo sa
Ella?
podcast po. Yes,
Oo.
ma'am.
Oh, good evening. So, what I did is to try call Doc Octa on our Viber. So, isi-share ko tong Viber, no?
Oo, ayan, ma'am.
Nakakalimutan ko, paano ko nga siya isi-share, Ella? Bali, andito siya ngayon sa Viber.
Share mo lang, ma'am. Share
Bali,
screen.
share screen. Share, sige. Share, tignan natin. Share, share screen. Share screen. Oo, sige. Wait lang. Wait lang, Share lang ako, guys.
Para
Kung
naman.
para
Masaya.
naghang ako. Ayan. Yeah,
Hindi
oo.
naman.
Share screen ako. Okay. Saglit lang, Aha. Hindi Windows tab, no? Kundi screen talaga. Ayun si Sir. Nakikita ko siya. Windows tab. Ayun, teka, tignan natin.
Oo, Windows tab.
Natin. Teka lang, Sir, wait. Sabi ko sa'yo, kung nakikita ka na sa monitor. Saglit. Guys, wait lang,
Yan.
I'm just
malapit
waiting na ma-share. Malapit na, wait lang. Pinifix ko lang, guys. Ay, naku, 1,000 plus ang ating. Hello to our 1,200.
Sana, lipat na kayo sa YouTube. Dali, dali.
Saglit. Ito, ayan. Teka lang, wait lang, wait.
Yan. Ganda lang. Okay lang.
Wait lang, wait natin. I'll give a go signal pag okay na. Naglo-load lang siya, naglo-load lang.
Sakto naman lang.
Ano nakikita mo, Ella? Nakikita mo na si Doc?
Yes, ma'am.
Not
At
yet?
saka, okay naman siya. Nag-move. Okay naman.
Nakikita
Yes, ma'am. Nakikita na siya.
ako lang hindi
Yes,
nakakita. Okay. Doc, okay na. Doc, magsalita ka lang para malaman natin kung naririnig nila. Good evening sa'yo.
Good evening, Doc. Good evening, Doc. Opo, kita na po, sabi ni Ma'am Kat. Ang ganda ng frame. Ayan. Kailan mo, hindi mo yan na-share ang audio, ma'am? Nagsasalita na ba si sir? Wala pa siyang audio. Alam mo, Ria, ayan, nawala si sir. Ayan, naghang yata po, sabi ni Ma'am Kat, nakamute po yata si Ma'am Ria. Oo, kasi kausap pa yata niya si Sir Guido. Ayun. So, ayan, chikahan muna tayo no, while waiting. Sa lahat po ng mga nasa Facebook po, lipat po kayo dito sa YouTube. And shoutout po kayo no, habang nandiyan po sa Facebook. Pero mas maganda maglipat po kayo sa YouTube para po makasali po kayo sa Papinoy Henry po ni Ma'am Ria. And for sure po, 1,000 pesos po ang price ni Ma'am per correct answer sa per question po niya later. Kapag pumasok po kayo lahat dito sa YouTube ngayon. So, please don't forget to tune in po to Dr. Ria Liza. Type niyo po yan sa kanyang sa YouTube po para makapag-interact po kayo dito sa live chat po ng YouTube channel ni Dr. Ria Liza. Kasi kapag sa Facebook po, medyo delayed po ang ating interaction dyan. Papunta po dito sa YouTube channel. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay lang po tayo at malapit na po natin ma-fix po yung connection po with our guest. And habang pinaprocess po ni Maria, ayan, mag-interact lang po kayo dito ngayon sa live chat po ng ating host na si Dr. Ria Liza. Ayan, nakashare na po. Nakashare yata ang entire screen or window. Ayun.
Sorry, wait. Yeah.
Nasa labas pa si sir. Yan, may audio na siya, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Evening po, ayan, napaka-in demand niyo po talaga
Hi, good evening.
ngayon.
Good evening. Yeah. Hi, good evening.
Good evening po, Doc.
Hello? Yeah, I'm about to travel na eh. So, can I, Can I? Yung webinar ko. I have to go na. Yeah, I have to go now. I have to travel eh. I'll be, can I log back in mga siguro 15, 20 minutes?
Okay po.
Yeah, kasi I'll travel and then when I get home, mabilis ng internet.
Okay po, okay po. Keep safe po.
Okay. Sure.
Yan, mga kaibigan, sa sandaling ito, no? Ria. Ayan. Ma'am Ria, are you still around? Yan, so mga kapatid, magbabiyahe pa daw si guest. So, hintayin na po natin in 15 minutes daw po na para pagdating niya sa bahay, mas stable po yung internet daw. So, ayan, I hope so nandyan ba kayo? May galang shoutout po sa mga viewers po ni Dr. Ria Liza dyan. Kaya naman, no? Lipat po tayo sa YouTube channel po. Type po natin Dr. Ria Liza. And pag-participate po tayo sa ating Pinoy Henry po later after po ng discussion po ng journey po ni Dr. guest po ni Dr. Yelisa. And learn, watch and learn, and then after that, participate po tayo sa Pinoy Henry para malalo po tayo. Ayan, may galang shoutout po kay Catnil TV and yan, kay Mumukat and Sir Javier Centeno sa pag-stay ninyo at hindi nyo pag-iwan sa amin, no? And kapag meron kayong gusto itanong dyan, ayun, magtanong na kayo. And also, sana huwag niyo akong iwanan, no? So please don't forget to give thumbs up po kay Dr. Yelisa and dama niyo na rin po si Ella once kapag gusto niyo po mag-subscribe. Ayan, please watch first my video and also, syempre, huwag na rin kalimutan po ang ating host po, no, si Dr. Yelisa. And she's our main sponsor po ng Team Helpful. So, Team Helpful, abang-abangan po tayo na kasi medyo busy pa po ang ating sponsor. Kaya hindi yan naikutan yung mga active viewers po ng Team Helpful. But anyway, after naman namin luwag-luwag din sa mga meetings, for sure po, ayun, sisimula na kami magbigay sa inyo ng, syempre, kung ano yung pinaghirapan ninyo at sa pag-support na din sa amin. Thank you so much po. And of course, ayan, I would like to shout out din ng may tita. Wala pa siya dito pero shout out na nga. Baka naman, huwag mong kalimutan, no, Dr. Yelisa channel. Every Saturday po ito. And Sis Chofi, nasan ka na? Chofi, my love. Happy DTV, ayan, Testnel TV. Rose Marilasio, ayan, nasaan na kayo? Shoutout lang at magtanong po kayo. Please don't forget po to thumbs up or give thumbs up po sa ating host po na si Dr. Yelisa. So, in the meantime po, medyo ma-joke lang po yung internet po nila ngayon. So, in a few minutes, pabalik lang po sila. And for sure, magiging continuous po ang flow ng discussion later. So, nasa biyahe po ang guest ni ma'am. So, in the meantime, ayan, shoutout ko lang po kung ano yung gusto niyo po i-shoutout. Type niyo lang po dito yung mga magagandang sayings na gusto niyo pong i-shoutout natin. Kasi may bago pong tip ngayon ang YouTube, di ba? More on hashtag yung love message po natin, no, for everyone, for our loved ones and for our friends and to all the people whom we love and care. Ayan, meron pong bagong tip po si YouTube. Kaya pwede natin gawin content po na sa ating channel. So, you can shout out here. Ayan, dito po si Ma'am Ria. Ma'am Ria? Ayan. Na-miss ka na po namin, Ma'am Ria. Ayun, so, medyo ma-joke lang po ang net niya ngayon. And I hope so na
Hindi kasi, Ellen, nabigatan ako kanina dahil nagsishare ako, di ba, on the same laptop, nag-call ako ng Viber and then senior natin dito. So, nabigatan ako. Nabigatan yung ko.
Kasi
Pwede ko na.
nilapag niyo na.
So ngayon, Ella, habang may 20 minutes pa tayong traveling time, okay, sir, no?
Oo.
Inaayos ko yung kabilang laptop. Hello, out 1,000 plus viewers. 1,000,
Wow, lakas
naka
naman.
one, ang lakas eh. Kaya lang sana, no, we can go back to discussions.
Yes. So, binabati ko naman yung 1,000 viewers ni Dr. Ria Liza. Siyempre, hindi ko mawawala din sila at yung helpful, sila Ma'am Kat. And mas masaya ko, no, Kathniel and Rosemary and Ma'am Kat and Shoppies, my love, Sir Javier Centeno, Mami Erling Capurido. Kung lahat po talaga sila nandito po no, sa loob ng YouTube channel ni Dr. Ria Liza para mabasa natin yung mga sentiments nila, no? Yung mga gusto ng comments. May shoutout nila dito po sa pledge shot po ng ni Dr. Yagisa. And mali natin mo, isa sa kanila mananalo po ng 1,000. So, lipat na kayo dito sa YouTube po ni Dr. Yagisa. And please don't forget also to give thumbs up po sa ating host and subscribe kay Dr. Yelisa and Ella Wans. Ayan. So, Ma'am Ria, would you like to say something? Ayan. Thank you po sa ating mga masugid po ninyong viewers na every Saturday.
Yeah, I am now looking at another, teka lang,
Laptop.
another laptop.
Okay. So, yun, may siniset up pala si Maria, no? Para may share din siya na later na magagamit para kay Sir Guido. Ayan. So, nag-handle si Ma'am Kat, si Ma'am Ria, kaya sabi ni Ma'am Kat. And Ma'am Kat, sana may mga shoutout ka dyan para may mabasa ako sa live chat. And sabi ni Kathniel, you get this. Ayan. Happy DTV virtual hug. Thank you for sending virtual hug. Happy DTV. Hashtag helpful. Keep safe daw, sir. Sabi ni Kathniel TV. Ayan, hindi ko nabasa kanina. Ayan, Rosemary. Ayan, shout out. Sir Javier Centeno, you got this. Virtual hug. You get this. You get this. You get this. Virtual hug. Thank you so much. Ang tiyaga namang mag-type ng emojis. And also, ayan. Hindi ko nawawala dyan si Kurt. Thank you so much, Kurt, for visiting Dr. Ria Liza. Once again, I hope so na tuloy-tuloy na yung support natin dyan every Saturday. Kasi malapit na po ang vacation. Ayan. So, I hope so, no, na may mga isa-shoutout din kayo dyan para mabasa ng si Ella once dito. Ayan. So, mga iba tayo pala, no. For sure, nakikita niyo po yung YouTube studio ninyo. Paki-check niyo po sa Gmail din ninyo yung mga suggested content po ng inyong channel. Kasi every month, meron pong pakuluan ng YouTube ng mga bago silang mga gustong ipagawa sa atin na suggestion mo nila para po sa ating channel. So, yun nga isa sa mga suggested version po ni Lolo Whitey sa akin is to make some videos po no, na nag-shoutout po ng mga love quote for loved ones and nag-share ng mga video na live with the pictures. Tapos may mga magagandang message po tayo for our loved ones. So, actually, napakaganda nun po para ma-inspire natin yung mga loved ones natin. At ang loved ones naman kasi hindi lang yan nakafocus po sa ating mga boyfriend or girlfriend. Nakafocus po yan. Open po yan for our parents po, for our brothers and sisters, for our dear friends, loyal friends, and to our four siblings, of course, to our kids, and of course, partner in life. Ayan. So, syempre, ang ating mga YouTubers na friendship, hindi po yan naiiba sa pwede nating bigyan o padalahan din po ng mga love quotes. Lalo na si Happy DTV at kay Sir Ronald Ramos. Yan, dalawa na si Ma'am Ria. So, there is, there, there it is, yung twin po ni Dr. Yalisa. Ipakilala ko natin. Ano pong pangalan ng twin mo, Ma'am Ria? Ngayon na namin siya nakita. By the way, finally. Ngayon na sana ipakilala natin sa viewers mo ninyo yung inyong kaamba. Pareho pa kayo nakamute.
Ano, nakamute pala?
Ma'am, anong pangalan ng katwin mo dyan?
Siya si Liza, yung isa si Ria. Tapos,
Ayan.
magkaiba sila ng resolution. Guys, pansin nyo, magkaiba silang resolution.
Yes,
No?
ma'am.
Mas malino yung isa kaysa sa kabila.
Yes. Finally, ngayon ko lang nakilala yung twin ni Ma'am Ria. Happy to see you, Lisa. Nabigla kami.
O, diba? So, at least meron na tayong ano dito. So, wait lang natin. So hello sa ating 1,000 plus viewers. Pasensya na kayo. For this is just the first time that we have this delay, di ba? Baka sabihin nila
Yes,
palagi
ma'am.
tayong delay. Actually, this is the first time na delay tayo ganun. Gantong kahaba. Kasi, of course, no, our guest is always on call. Of course, Doc Guido, who is always on call by the IATF, at alam naman natin ang ating government, sa gabi sila nagmi-meeting. 'Di ba? Oo, so kaya we have to what you call this, bear with that. Okay? Wait lang natin pamaya-maya. Okay, sige.
So,
Ella,
actually,
you can
nakakapaghintay naman sila, ma'am, no? Kasi, syempre, hindi na wala ang pa-coffee dyan mamaya.
Paano to pag 1,000 plus nag-comment? Buti lang nasa sa Facebook sila. Pag nag-comment silang lahat, mahirap yung 1,000 plus na kape.
Hindi naman yun mahirap, ma'am, kasi may mga sponsor naman tayo dyan, no?
So, dapat lumipat na sila dito sa YouTube.
Ayun. Ayan, sa 1,000 viewers po ni Dr. Ria Liza na nasa Facebook, please transfer po tayo sa YouTube channel ni Dr. Ria Liza. All you have to do is type www.youtube.com and then search po natin si Dr. Ria Liza sa kanyang YouTube channel.
Ella, narinig niyo po?
Yes, ma'am, pero nag-e-echo.
Okay na.
May echo pa rin.
Okay na?
Yes, ma'am.
Ano mas malinaw, kanina o ngayon?
Ngayon.
Alright. Bago yung laptop. Thank you sa
Wow.
pa-laptop.
Sana
May
all.
pa-laptop kasi NU eh. Thank you.
Wow. Try to
Ngayon ko lang
all.
nagamit. Yun yung problema ko sa old laptop ko. Pag sabay-sabay na siya, wala na, hang forever na to. Ay! I'm sorry. Lumabas ako. Ako pala yung sa kabila. Teka, I have to enter again the room. No, mamaya mawala tayo. Malaglag tayong pareho. Walang host.
Ayan, matik naman yata sa StreamYard, i-assign niya ng host. Kung sino yung maiiwan.
Yes. Ayan. Nilagay ko na siya sa loob. So, nag-feedback ako. Okay lang ako, Ella. Nag-feedback ako.
Nag-feedback na. Masakit sa time.
Kailangan ko ba i-sign in yung StreamYard dito?
Diyan sa laptop mo, ma'am. The twins. Ngayon lang yata din napanood, ma'am. Delayed kasi, ma'am, diba? Yung twins.
Doon lang ako sa kabila kasi di pala ako pwede mag-stay dito. Because of...
Mag-e-echo siya. Yun. Thank you, Kathmil. Ayan, for staying. Nag-feedback po yata si Ma'am Ria. Oo nga Ma'am Pat. Thank you, Ma'am Pat.
Okay na, Ella? Hindi na ako nag-feedback?
Yes, ma'am. Medyo
Okay na,
better.
wala na. Okay. Kasi ito yung kakambal ko. Ayan.
Dapat ma'am yung name niya iba. Isa lang. Or sino ba siya ng host mo, ma'am?
ito si Ria. Yung kanina si Liza.
Okay.
Okay, so balik ako doon sa kwento ko. On next, huwag kayo mawawala next month. Okay? Huwag nyo i-miss out yung March kasi Women's Month is the most important month sa mga feminine genius na katulad nating lahat. Okay? So, syempre, magpo-fulfill tayo one wish per week. So, kailangan ngayon babaguhin natin yung rules, no? Kailangan pag nag-wish ka, nandito ka, present ka. So hindi na tayo papayag like last time na we have so many wishes that we received. Pero yung mga ibang naka-receive ng wish ay hindi sila real time nanood. Kasi syempre, dinistribute natin yung link, no? Madami pinamigay natin yung link, kumalat yung link. So ang dami talagang nag-register. So yung mga nag-register, wala sila, hindi sila nanonood. So ulitin ko sa mga viewers, um, yung link na yon would be what you call this para kailangan present kapag nabunot ka sa wish mo. So magpapadala na siguro tayo ngayon ng link para sa mga wish. Papagawa tayo ng link, no? Sige, Ella, pwede shout out ka muna. So ipon kayo, magbababa ako ngayon ng link. Gagawa lang ako ng link para sa wish natin, okay?
Yun,
Sige, Ella.
nag-love shoutout po LC Channel. Ayan, nag-love shoutout daw no, Ma'am Ria from LC Channel. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe kay Ma'am Ria. Sir Javier Centeno, ayan, thank you po sa ating pa-emojis dyan. You get this virtual hug. And thank you po sa pa-virtual hug natin, Sir Javier Centeno. And Ma'am Rehinda Cadillo, ayan, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Thank you so much. Ayan, Ma'am Kat, nag-love shoutout po. Testmail TV, ayan. Happy DTV, hashtag helpful. Malungkot yata si Happy ngayon, hindi ko nababasa masyado yung comment. Ayan. wala ba? Kasi wala si Sir Romel. Ayan, hindi ko nag-reply si Sir Romel. Ayan, actually, na-invite ko na si Sir Romel and some of my friends. So, from Team Helpful, tingnan natin kung papasok sila. Let's invite them. Ayan. Oh, yun. Sinakal-invite na po tayo sa Team Helpful. Hopefully po, no, tignan natin kung sino yung masunod na papasok na dito sa ating live via Dr. Ria Liza's channel. Ang aga-aga naman ng pa-burger ni Sir Javier at saka pa-coffee. Icons dyan. Pampaswerte sana yun, no? Kasi, mali natin, no? Mabait ang tadhana ngayon. At lagi naman mabait. Ayan, so, malay natin mag-share ng blessing ko kung sino man si guest ng ating host. Thank you, Sir Javier, sa ating pa-early coffee and burger dyan. Sana may mga love po. Ano kaya kung may mga best, dyan, quotation na i-shout out? Tapos may winner na silang Ria. Wow! Ayun. Pagandahan ng quotation dyan. So while waiting po sa ating guest, shoutout po muna ulit ng ating mga viewers po sa Facebook Live ng The Feminine Genius. Ayan, I'd like to remind you na meron po tayong pa-attendance for every Saturday po ito. So, if you are going to shout out po, please don't forget to shout out your name para may isama ko po kayo sa pa-attendance po. Because the attendance will serve as your entry para po sa grand raffle po, no, ng grand live streaming po ng Dr. Ria Liza every December po yan. So, kapag na-shoutout po kayo ngayon, may one entry na po kayo para sa kanyang grand LS on December. So, valente po si host. Lalo na kapag mag-birthday yan at the same time, kapag Pasko, ayan. Sinimigay talaga yun sa Ria. Kahit hindi Pasko, nagpaparaffle na yan. So, actually, nabanggit na niya kanina na magbibigay na po siya ng link, no, para sa kanyang paraffle na naman. Kung sino may mga wish po sa inyo na mga simple wishes lang po that will make you happy. simple things that can actually make you smile. Yun po yung mga pwede natin ilagay po sa wish link po na ibibigay ni Ma'am Ria po. So, hopefully, no, yung hindi naman sobrang mahal na wishes like house and lot. Imposible na po yun, yung mga kotse. Ayan. So, yung mga very simple lang na will do. Siguro mga ring light, pwede ba yung Ma'am Ria? Ring light. Oh, yeah, pwede na yung ring light. And then yung mga, ano pa ba, yung mga, kung mga vloggers po kayo, siguro camera, ganyan, na worth, so, ano lang, ano lang, kasi yung price lang din ng mga, yung mga cellphone po na affordable. And, syempre, yung, halimbawa, gusto mong kumain sa restaurant, ayan, mga ganyan na Maria, pwede din yan. I think, will do. Tapos, last year kasi I remember yung mga nag-grant na wishes po ay yung sa dental, ayan, naibigay po yun. And then yung, ano pa ba yun ma'am? Yung ka-cellphone ng Ria, yung robot na toys, para yun sa kanyang kids, na i-provide din na rin. Tapos, may cellphone na itang naibigay na rin. And yung bike, naalala ko may bike pang na panalunan at cellphone, no? And may natawa ko ang aga naman nagpa-earn. Ang aga po nagpa-ice cream at burger si Mami Erlinda Caldido. So sana swertein po tayo na kasi may nagbahagi ko ng blessing po sa inyo. Makatikim. Kumbaga mabili ninyo yung ice cream na. Basta sigurado ka Mami Erlinda ha, cone lang po ng ice cream ang bibili mo ha. Kasi ako kaya kong ibigay sa iyo yan, yung cone ng ice cream lang. Yung cone lang, ice cream cone. I mean, yung naka-cone na ice cream. Kasi ano lang naman yan. 15 pesos lang yata yan. Ayan. Yung burger, medyo mahal na yan. Good evening. Ayan, meron po tayong bagong friendship po na pumasok si Andrea Cruz. Ayan, good evening. Thank you po Ma'am Andrea for tuning in. And kay Kathmil TV, ayan, I will be there in Women's Month. Wow! Thank you, Kathmil TV. I wish to peace to the world. Ayan, Maria. Thank you po ayan, syempre lahat po tayo no, wishing and praying for the world peace, lalo na para sa Russia and sa Ukraine. And sabi ni Ma'am Kat, may galap shoutout po Tita Elsie. I wish yung hair ko kasi ang ganda ng hair ko ni Ma'am Ria. Wow! Oo naman, Ma'am Kat. Hindi ka naman curly hair katulad ko. Curly hair talaga ko eh. So, madaling ma-achieve yan. Alagaan mo lang ng shampoo. And tanongin natin si Ma'am Ria mamaya kung anong sekreto ng kanyang magandang hair. Sabi ni Mami Erlinda, promise is a promise. It can't be broken. Dapat may it can be broken daw. Yes, ang promise minsan talaga po ay may mga promise ko na hindi matutupad. Siguro, ano po yun ay dapat pong unawain kasi po, baka may ano naman na dahilan, magandang dahilan, or hindi natin alam kung gaano kabigat din yung reason kung bakit hindi natupad yung promise. It depends on the situation. Na? Sana nasagot kita, Mama Erlinda. And ang sabi ni Ma'am Kat, ang cute talaga yung laugh po ni Ma'am. Kasi, syempre, parang na akong ano dito, akala ko iniwan ako ni Ma'am Ria. Ayan, so, I wish, sabi ni Happy, DTV, I wish may magpapakapin mamaya. I wish your wish will be granted and answered. Happy, DTV. I wish din magkatuluyan na si Sir Ronald and Sir Happy. Sis Happy. Sakto ka Ma'am Kat, no? Sana malay natin. Kaya lang hindi pa pumasok si Sir Ronald. Ano kayang meron? Bakit hindi siya pumasok? It's either nasa meeting siya or wala siya sa kanila. Kasi ano yun, bilis yung kapag ka nag-send ka ng link, matik yun. Papasok yun sa LS ni Maria. So, sabi nga, no, kapag kung sino yung nandyan, ayan, yun ang ating mabibigyan ng coffee kasi may nag-wish na po dito na mga ice cream na naka-cone lang. Tapos, na may pa-burger na dyan at may pa-iced tea pa. Ako hindi na ako nag-iced tea kasi yan ako sa Coke float. Magkano lang ang Coke float. Ayun, so, ang french fries, actually medyo mahal na rin pero dahil nga medyo tag-init na po, so mas bongga na rin yung meron tayong ice cream na may Coke pa. Ayan, sabi ni Happy, Ma'am Kat, busy pa ang aking future na. Sakto ka dyan, Happy. Busy-busy yun si Sir. Kasi kanina, after ng super math training, no, with Ma'am Ria. Kasama si Sir din Ma'am Ria. Sumunod agad yun sa aming orientation ko sa DIT. Kaya ang tagal namin tapos. So, baka yun yung mga preparations ko siyang ginawa for his other responsibilities. And I wish, sabi niya ng Kat, makagraduate si Ma'am Ellen ng cum laude sa kanyang Ph.D. Ayan, with flying color, parang sana actually, hindi ko na siya pinangarap. Kasi mahirap po mamukad. Pero kung ano yung kaya ko, yun lang po ang bibigay ko. And, ayun, may pa-early, na po si Sir Javier Centeno dyan na shout out yung burger and coffee. So, mas gusto talaga nila yung burger at coffee. Kasi, yun yung siguro masarap si Sir Javier sa coffee. Kamusta naman yung mga nakatikim din ng pa-Starbucks ng dalawang guest ni Maria? Diba? Alam ko may nagpa-Starbucks dito May nagpa-Starbucks coffee na yung very kind na CEO from Saudi ba yun, Maria? And yung very kind professor ko na nasa US. Ayan. Sino ba yung mga nakatikim dyan? So, hindi po sa lahat po ng time ay, syempre, tayo ay naghihintay lang na magpusa din po ang ating guest na sobra-sobra na po ang kanyang extra blessing. So, pag may mga na-share po silang extra blessing, magpasalamat po tayo. Kung wala naman po, ayan, thank you pa rin po tayo. Thankful pa rin tayo na may natutunan tayo sa kanya. Ayan, so, ayan, please don't click na the shoutout of Alexander Frederick no and Charlotte Kelly kasi hindi po safe yung website na yan. So please ignore the post of Alexander and Charlotte Kelly. Sabi ni Army Salazar, hi Doc Ria. Sabi naman isang Facebook user dito, my wish is cellphone please. Sabi niya. Ayan, so meron pong actually link ibibigay ko yung ating host ko later. So, doon po tayo mag-type ng ating wish way tuloy. So, may instructions kasi po tayo kailangan sundin doon sa ating mga wish list po para hindi naman tayo sumobra po sa ating wishes, baka questionnaire at saka house and lot. So, hindi po ganun po ang nature po ng wishes natin. So, mga simple things lang po na nakakapagpa-happy po sa atin. So, baka si Sir Ronel po ang makakapagpa-happy kay Happy TTV. So, hindi ko namin kaya ibigay po si Sir Ronel sa inyo. But, very simple things lang po that can make you happy. So, it can be things, food, something like that. Na sa tingin niyo po ay yung kaya naman po sa provider po ng inyong wish. Kasi hindi naman po tayo, yung may miracle talaga na yung magic na yung wishes ninyo. So, wala pa kaming power to.
Okay. Ella,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
posted a link. Pwedeng pakitry nyo. Pwede na ba kayo mag-register dyan? So, click nyo lang yung link na nandyan sa comment section. Nakita nyo ba?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Alright.
sure na wish nila pagkain kasi meron ditong nag-wish.
Tropical
My
ha.
wish is tropical sandwich, rice, and iced tea. Thanks.
Guys, yung wish
Sure.
na to, ano pa to ah? Month of March. Kasi month of March is Women's Month. So, gaya ng ginawa natin last year, lahat ng wish natin may fulfiller. Ang wish fulfiller
Yes.
natin ay yung mga guest. So, meron tayong 4 Saturdays in March. So, meron tayong, bubuno tayo ng 4 din. Isa bawat guest. So, pwede na tayong mag-wish. Fill up pa na yan. Mag-upisa tayo next week, March 5
Facebook
onwards.
user, wala pang imposible dyan sa wish mo na tropical hot sandwich. Basta linawin mo lang kung
Ah,
ano ang
comment
ilang
section. Teka lang.
ilang order
Ma'am
yan
Kat,
kasi baka
na-open mo? Kasi meron akong question doon na what is your wish?
sa comment
Nasa,
section ko ba mag-answer, sabi ni Ma'am Kat.
meron akong, meron akong binigay na ano, na form. Nandyan sa, ayan, si in-email ko. Yung form na yan, pagka click nyo yan, ang nakalagay dyan, pakicheck nyo kung nakikita nyo yung nilagay ko. Nilagay ko doon yung name, telephone number, email address, delivery address, of course, para alam ko saan i-deliver. And then, what is your wish?
My
Thank
wish
you sa YouTube.
is
Hindi.
if
Magpi-fill
you
up
say
kayo ng ano, magpi-fill up kayo ng form. Ay, YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. YouTube yung nakuha. Wait. Oo. Sorry. Bakit ganun? Saglit ah. Get
sorry.
link.
Oo.
Oo, YouTube pala. Kaya tinatanong. Sorry. Ayan. Thank you, Ma'am Kat. Mali pala na-send ko na. Kaya ba sabi niya, bakit nagko-comment sa YouTube? Ayan na yung Google Drive forms. Pakicheck nyo po. Pwede na kayo mag-fill up dyan habang naghihintay tayo ng guest natin.
Yes.
Hindi ko na kailangan ng second laptop. No? Magli-leave na yung ano ko. Kasi,
Hello, Army Salazar. Thank you for tuning in.
hi Army, hello, of course. Angel ko yan si Army. Ria's
Okay.
Angel. Welcome to 1,100 viewers that we have right now. This is the first
Wow.
time po na na-delay ang ating guests. Nagkataon po na very busy at meron silang meeting ngayong gabi. And now, pauwi na siya kasi kanina nag-try na, no? Ilang beses tayo nag-try, hindi talaga siya makapasok. And then when we tried the Viber, hirap na hirap tayo, naglalag ako, hindi tayo magkaintindihan. So we wait till the meeting is in his house, si Doc Guido, and we can watch. Ayan na, padami ng padami, 1,100 and ang dami nating viewers sa YouTube, no? 1,000 plus viewers. Guys, doon sa mga nasa YouTube, nasa Facebook, meron tayo dyan pinadalang link. So, doon sa link na pinadala ko, Google Drive link, and we have, ang dami din natin viewers sa YouTube. We have 67, almost 70 viewers in YouTube plus the 1,100 viewers in Facebook. Nagpadala po
Wow.
ako ng link, Google Drive form. Please click that and make a simple wish.
Ang dami
And
ng
we will
viewers
be
mo,
happy.
actually. Madami ng viewers sa YouTube.
Oo nga, ang dami eh. And we will have a wish, no? Bubunot po tayo ng wish, isa bawat isang Saturday ng March. Kasi Women's Month. Yung mga guests natin na magiging wish fulfiller ng mga wishes ng mga viewers natin. Okay, kaya start filling up the form. Ayan po yung form. Lagay ko ulit yung form. Ayan. Fill up po tayo ng form para makapag-wish po tayo. At dapat para maklaim ang wish, present ka sa time na nabunot ka. Pag hindi ka present,
Yes.
nabunot kami ng panibago. Kailangan present tayo. Okay? So, yung mga 1,000 plus natin, actually 1,200 plus viewers natin, habang hinihintay po natin yung guest, ay tayo ay mag-fill up na ng ating wish list. Ayan na po yung Google Drive. Fill up lang tayo ng wish list.
Yun. Sana all maraming viewers. Yun, so
Pasensya
bigyan
na
ng
po sa
shoutout
mga
po
viewers.
sa lahat. Sa mga gusto
Pasensya.
po ng mga, sige ma'am, go ahead ma'am.
Pasensya na talaga, guys, please. Things like this happen, it's life. No? This is life. Things like this happen. Sige, go, Ella.
Yan, sa mga gusto-gusto po ng mga foods po dyan, yun na po ang i-wish natin. Yung mga gusto niyo pong kumain ng max, ayan. Siguro pwede na rin din, di ba? Parang medyo social naman. Ako McDo lang, masaya na kami sa McDo brand. Kasi makaano kami, naka-price kami ng McDo. May nasa price kami. Pero for sure, hindi ko i-wish dyan.
Hindi, wish mo McDo na 20 pieces chicken, di ba?
Dami.
Grabe, 20 pieces chicken talaga eh.
Ayun, so, that's live streaming. Dami
Yeah.
tawa naman.
Tama, Army, that's live streaming. Kasi, ang hirap hindi mo controlled everything eh. Ang hirap din pala, Ella, kapag ang ating guest is artista. Ang hirap na dami niyang mga meetings eh. Okay. So, wait lang natin siya.
Yeah, okay lang yan kasi nga, for sure maraming manonood sa'yo kasi ano siya. Talaga marami siyang followers din, no? At saka viewers talaga. Kaya, hindi pa nga siya nag-discuss. Nandito na viewers niya.
Huwag mo kalimutan ang ating live streaming every Saturday, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Palagi po kayong manunood. Okay?
Yun na po yung wish ni Ma'am Army. Sa
Alak.
wine. At saka, ang social naman niya. Ako, ano yan, mamahaling wine yan. Ako masaya na ako sa brand ng Maria Clara. At saka yung, ano ba yun? Novel. Sorry, novel. Kathleen, thank you so much for tuning in. Ayan, yung mga taga-team helpful, ano po ang mga wishes ninyo? Sige nga, shoutout nyo nga dito, ano yung wishes ninyo para naman, baka naman. Tignan natin kung pasok yan. Huwag naman yung sobrang ambitious po yung ating wishes. Baka hindi kaya i-provide po ng ating wish fulfiller. Ayun, so, baka naman, sa lahat po ng mga viewers ko ni Doc Ria dyan sa Facebook, transfer po tayo sa YouTube channel para po may chance din po kayo to have an entry sa kanyang brand raffle on December. And Army Salazar, Doc, sing for us while we wait for Doc Guido. Ayan, may request po dito sa inyo. Ma'am Ria, special request po. Baka pwede po kayong kumanta para sa kanila.
Grabe, ito
Ma'am Ria.
kumanta.
Oo, Ma'am Ria, syempre kasi na-miss namin yung boses mo na ano. Ay, biglang nawala si Ma'am Ria. Ayan. Hintayin na po natin si Ma'am Ria. Medyo nagjo-joke lang po siya. Pero may pa-surprise yan. Sigurado yan. May pa-surprise yan si Ma'am Ria sa inyo. Abangan natin ang kanyang golden voice. Ayan. Shoutout naman po sa lahat ng taga-team Helpful dyan. Thank you so much for tuning in. And sa lahat din po ng ating mga viewers po na nasa Facebook Live ng The Philippines News. Baka naman, yung hindi pa po mga member po ni Dr. Ria Liza, meron po siyang membership po sa kanyang channel wherein you can select kung ano po yung mag-repeat po na character po ng The Philippines News na nagpapagay sa sarili niyo para po makasama kayo sa kanyang mga livelihood project na tuloy. Nagugulo na ako. Para maisama namin kayo, no, yung mga gustong humagal ko sa gustong mag-member kay Doc Ria sa kanyang mga livelihood project for women. And for, meron din pong para sa mga young generations na Generation Z and sa ating pong mga male genius po na members. Sana may grasya darating kayo happy next month. Ayan, wish ko rin sa'yo yan. Happy DTV. And sabi ni Army Salazar, thanks Doc, thanks Doc. Ayan. Ang tabi lang po Ma'am Army Salazar sa ating host po, no, na nagjo-joke na yung internet niya. Antayin natin na um, magbigay po siya ng kanyang talent. Pinoy Got Talent. Ayan. Hopefully din, my wish for you, Happy DTV po, na yung wish mo na blessing na darating sa'yo next month ay matupad na may pagkaloob sa'yo. And I wish and pray, no, samahan po natin ang prayer ang mga wishes natin at sipag at syagad. Kasi kung puro tayo wish po, no, tapos hindi na tayo kumikilos, wala pong mangyayari sa atin. So, kailangan po meron po gusto natin ma-achieve yung ating mga blessing po na at saka mga pangarap. Samahan po natin ang pagsisikap yan. Kasi hindi po yan magiging magic po na katulad ng dugubuti ni Ma'am Ria. Swerte-swertehan po yan sa dami po ng sasali po sa mga raffle. Swerte na po talaga yung mag-vote tayo. So, kung hindi naman, maging masaya po tayo para sa iba rin po na yan, so hopefully talaga, no, yung blessing na hinihintay mo for next month ay may grant po sa iyo. Kapag nakita naman sa kalooban mo na nag-deserve mo yan,
Okay.
yung Diyos na mismo
Nandiyan na.
ang gagawa ng paraan para mapagkaloob yan.
Ella, can you hear me na?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me
may-
na? Okay.
Kaya
So,
lang
let
parang hindi
me-
echo ka.
Okay na, naririnig na ako.
Narinig mo daw may echo lang.
Okay. So, ay teka, kung nag-e-echo, I have to leave the other studio. Kasi nag-join ako sa pangalawang studio eh. Taglata. Leave mo na ako. Okay, so, ayan na si Sir. Ayan na si Doc Guido. Excited na po,
Yay.
Sir, ang ating 1,300 viewers na nag-aabang sa iyo. No? Actually, ito lang yata pinakamarami namin viewers for, since nag-start tayo ng live. So, ito na si Sir. Si Doc Guido. Ayan, Sir, lagay lang kita sa spotlight. Wait lang. Ayan. Ito na yung pinakamarami namin viewers for our live streaming. And I think po, everybody's excited to hear your story. And we will leave you muna. We give the spotlight muna sa iyo. We will listen to your story po. We're just here waiting patiently for your story. Okay, sir. So the floor is yours po.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the invite again, Dr. Ria, and sa viewers natin dito sa program, Feminine Henyo. I really apologize. I committed, but there was an emergency meeting, and I hope you understand. It was a really important meeting. I couldn't get out of it. I was out of it, pero mahinang signal kanina. So here I am. Yun nga, siguro kakwento ko lang. Quickly, basically, the pandemic affected us and me the same way it affected you. So initially, well, as you know, I'm a professor. I teach at UP. I did my graduate studies at Texas A&M University in Texas, of course. I did my PhD there, and then I returned home, teach in UP. So just like any professor, I do research on applied mathematics, mathematical modeling, game theory, um, artificial intelligence, so among others. So stuff that has to do with mathematics. And then when the pandemic hit, like all of you, I was initially surprised. no, March 15 of 2020 that it was serious, and we were actually having a lockdown. So first time in my life we experienced something like that, a lockdown, an actual lockdown, and people were scared. People were panic buying in groceries. I remember that. People didn't know what was going on. They knew about this COVID, but they didn't think it was that serious. I didn't think it was that serious because we heard about the COVID even back in January, February, and so far parang wala namang cases. And then suddenly, it turns out that the number of cases was higher than we thought it was, and that's why we had to go to lockdown. So, I stayed in lockdown, but during that time, I was thinking of using my skills, my knowledge to do some modeling research on COVID, and it was a new well, I wouldn't call it a new science, but we have experience modeling diseases, for example, SARS, um, MERS, and other diseases, flu, etc. But some of the information was new, and so what I saw initially was that there were some projections being made, and this was in March of 2020. And I thought that some of the projections were a little too high for my taste. So I actually decided to write a paper and try to publish it because I'm a researcher. And I made some projections based on the model that I was working on. So I was working on a simplified model for making projections and making forecasts for the pandemic. And it was actually not a bad projection. So my first projection was made on, we published it on April 2020. And the projection for the number of cases, it was around 3,000 by that time, by April 8th. And then we projected about 30,000 in 2 months. And it was actually not far off because some of the other projections were seeing either 200,000 or so, and different using different methods. So there were some tweaks I made in the model, and based on that, it seemed like it was calibrated well for COVID modeling. So I started doing that, and it started becoming something regular. So I thought it was initially going to be just a one-time research paper, but in fact, it evolved into something, and we were constantly monitoring the COVID situation in the country, in NCR, in the provinces. And so it became something that was weekly. So we were doing weekly monitoring and submitting the reports through channels to the interagency task force and other government institutions. And then, well, it started to get traction. First time it got real traction was around June of 2020. We made a prediction that was actually, you know, uh, fairly close to what was actually the number of cases, and then the media got wind of that, and then after that, well, even the government noticed it, and that was when uh, at that time spokesperson Harry Roque said, "Natalo natin yung UP because our projection was around 40,000 cases, but by the end of I think it was the end of July, we had about 37,000 cases. So we beat the UP because people were already noticing that our projections were fairly close. So they were using it as a benchmark to assess government performance. In reality, actually, we did not. The I mean, the country did not beat the projections because when we look at the actual number of cases, um, by July of 2020, it actually increased um, later to around 40,000. So yeah, but anyway, we're not trying to compete with anything. We're just using the projections as a guide um, for the public. And this is public service, and we're using it as a guide for the government, and businesses use the projections as guides as well for their planning. So we actually have seen, or we have predicted the surges. So the March surge of 2021, which was due to the alpha and beta, we actually saw that the increase happening. And then the delta surge, we also predicted that, and we saw it coming, even as other experts were saying that they were not seeing the surge yet. But we saw it all in its nascent stage, and it was evolving into something big, and we knew that it was big. The Omicron surge, it was very fast, so timing was very important. I mean, by December 24, we were not seeing the surge, but by December, like less than a week later, we were seeing significant spikes in cases, and that was when we actually, reported that there was an increase going on. The difference, of course, was during the Omicron surge. There was already significant vaccination in the country, in the NCR. So there was no need for a strict lockdown. So it's what we call living with the virus. So, and the Filipinos actually were or were already um, used to the pandemic, so they knew what to do. So people stayed home, they get tested, they isolated if they felt symptoms, and now we're basically over the Omicron wave. It's downward. Yes, there's still some cases, but it's decreasing. Today's number of cases is about 1,200 um, and decreasing. So we are expecting that it will be less than 1,000 cases by next week. So I'm not sure what else I need to discuss honestly. So uh, so this is again, I'm very happy to be part of this program. I I wouldn't say I'm a feminist, but definitely I believe in women's rights, and I respect you know women's rights very much. And I mean, I think it would be better if we do more interaction, like if there are questions that you'd like to ask me. I don't know about, hopefully not about the methodology. I mean, we could go technical, um, but yeah. So well, maybe just to add some a few talking points. So yeah, I think I gave some background on what I did, but yes, my name is Guido David. I'm a professor of mathematics. I think there was an introduction already made about me. I'm also part of some uh, um, social advocacy program. One is remote area medical. So what we do is um, provide medical services to remote areas. So hence the name. It was actually founded by my friend, Dr. Heidi Abiad. So she's a medical doctor. So she does voluntary work. She goes to provinces um, which are not really within normal reach of you know medical support, and they are in fact going to be trying new technological means of providing medical support. One would be through drones providing airlifting medicine and delivering this to um, remote areas. And I'm also part of another company, an artificial intelligence company, because this is my current line of research. Um, Regarding some of my core principles. Um, I believe I'm as honest as possible. Um, so when I give recommendations, this is these are my honest recommendations. When I see cases increasing, I tell it as it is, uh, because I want to advise the public, and I believe in sharing information, not misinformation, because this is my area of research. So I believe that the public can be entrusted with the information, and they should be they should be guided accordingly with the proper information, and then they can make decisions based on that information. So I also believe in freedom of choice. So although I understand that there were some recent policies that were proposed, like no vax, no ride. I mean, actually, I'm sorry, no people who are not really keen on vaccination. Although I myself am vaccinated, I have been boosted, so I believe in the science. But like I said, I believe in the personal liberties. I believe that the best way to vaccinate people is to share the information, proper information, information dissemination that vaccines work. And in fact, vaccines are effective because they helped us, um, manage the pandemic during the Omicron surge. So if it wasn't for vaccines, there might be a higher number of hospitalizations and deaths. Um, I mean, I never expected to be sort of in the spotlight, but with me being in the spotlight, I mean, there's some spotlight. I really uh, would like to serve the Filipino even more. So I'm already thinking of my advocacies in the future. One would be clean energy, renewable energy. We are, I mean, I'm a scientist, so I have to be honest with, you know, with what I think I'm seeing. So with the current war between Russia and Ukraine, we are again seeing that we are, uh, essentially, I wouldn't say slaves to petroleum, um, but it has a big effect on us. When oil prices increase, etc. And I'm not just a believer in green energy, but renewable energy. This should be the direction that we should be taking. And I'm really a bit surprised that this is something that is not yet being pushed even by members of, let's say, Congress or the Senate. I mean, there should be bills that will be geared towards renewable energy, green energy. We should be investing in that. We should have more electric vehicles. Anyway, gasoline-powered vehicles will probably be, um, I would say, extinct in sometime in the future when we run out of, oil. So there should definitely be some um, investment in clean energy and electric powered vehicles, etc. Some countries are starting to do that. And yeah, I also believe in investing in research. I mean, it's not because I'm a scientist um, that I believe in that, but if we follow the template or the blueprint of other countries which have achieved economic success, Taiwan, Singapore, um, uh, South Korea. I mean, if you think about it, uh, we were actually wealthier than these countries, 40 years ago or so. But now they have surpassed us, and they have achieved their wealth through technology and by embracing research and stuff. So we should be investing more in these areas. Uh, I believe that Filipinos are intelligent. I, as an aside, I have been always monitoring our progress in international competitions. For example, the International Math Olympiad um, usually interview the our students, and we have been doing very well in these international competitions, international math olympiads. Not they're not getting the same recognition like, let's say, Heidelin. Of course, we're also proud of Heidelin and what she has done for for boosting the morale of the Filipinos. But we should also give credit to these students. We should give more recognition, um, and that's one way of fostering and developing the youth, inspiring them to you know to be the best they can be. Not necessarily in research. Yeah, we need more researchers, we need more scientists, we need more engineers, because the production right now we have for scientists, engineers is quite low compared to our Southeast Asian neighbors. But of course, that comes hand in hand with some other aspects, such as the job market. Of course, you can produce scientists and engineers, but if there's no job market for them, then it would be difficult. So scaling up these um, aspects should come in hand, and the development of education, development of research and technology. We should be investing in more of those. Okay, so yeah, I think, well, it's 11, so I could probably end there and maybe take on some questions. Usually in quick Q&A, it could take up to a long time. So thank you again, Dr. Ria and Ella.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc Octa. Mukhang ano lang ako, echo lang ako sa, I have to leave the other, yun. So, actually, I've known that you are a co-host of Doc Caster in Pinoy Scientist, no? I've met Doc Caster at CHED, and then I was once a guest of Pinoy Scientist, pero wala ka that day when I was a guest. Si Doc JD and Doc Caster lang na nandun. Kanina I have this very good, I saw a very good comment coming from Army Salazar, one of our viewers. Sabi niya, the kinds of you are the modern day hero. I'm looking for that comment. Modern day hero, yeah. I agree, no? So during the time when there was a very there's this ECQ way back mga siguro 2020 nga March April, no. Um we were we at National University were looking at research as one of the things that will make what you call this impactful during the pandemic, and thus we call the researchers the backliners. Kaya lang medyo niretract namin yung backliners kasi Doc, yung palang mga on the back pala, ito ring mga pagod na mga nasa crematory, no? Those are
Mhm.
in the crematories or not sleeping. Sabi nila, those are the backliners. So, if we have a frontliner, a backliner, so where do research, nasaan ang research, Doc? San siya?
I don't know, maybe midliner na lang, wala sa front at wala sa back, mga midliner. But yeah, I mean, well, I don't mind being placed anywhere, but I don't think we are frontliners because we don't. I mean, but we help in the planning siguro and analysis of data. Yes.
Yeah, the beatliner, yeah. But kasi this sabi nga no, you're put on spotlight. You suddenly become a superstar when, I mean, everybody knows your name. It's a ringing name. No, though we know that Octa Research is a group of people, but then parang mas nagre-ring a bell yung name, no. So how does it feels, Doc? And how life has changed, no, because of this?
Well, Dr. Ria, for me personally, my life hasn't changed. I mean, I'm a normal person. I don't really have high personal aspirations. Um, I have modest aspirations. In fact, I have basically what I need. So I don't need to aspire for more. I if I get recognized on the outside, I'm happy, I'm flattered, but I just take it as you know. Yeah, I'm happy to be appreciated for the work I do because this is public service after all. And sometimes it hurts a bit when you do free public service, and then there are some people who are unhappy with what you're doing because they think, I don't know, they don't agree. I mean, I understand I cannot please everyone when cases are rising and we're saying they're rising. I have to be honest with the data, and that's me. I have to be honest, and I hope that's what you feel you can count on me to be honest with you about what I'm seeing. And numbers don't lie, right? Mathematics don't lie. So yeah, I would say na it. Uh, yes, I like being appreciated, but for me, it's just continue to do the work. Lately, it has been more difficult to do the work because the data in the Department of Health has been delayed, so I have to manually extract the data. So, last year it was probably easier. I have the software extractor. I can get, top cities or something. I can do the calculations quickly. But now I have to manually extract them, so it's made it more challenging. But I feel like I have to do this. After 2 years of doing it, I still have some energy left to do it. Hopefully, looks like the pandemic is winding down, so it's a good sign. So maybe I can take a break, after the end of the pandemic.
Yeah, so it's public service, right? But of course, should it be purely public service? I mean, in the on the other side, is there any economic benefit that Octa Research is now reaping?
Well, I would say no, there's some goodwill benefits, and because, like I said, I have some companies that I'm involved with, like Diliman Artificial Intelligence, and I believe that the goodwill, because of my reputation as a data analyst, as a mathematical modeler, as someone who's working with artificial intelligence. So I think it will help me there. So I might have some, possibly some economic benefits in terms of maybe consultancies with my other work. But whether it comes or not, um, I'm happy with what I have done for the Filipinos. And like I said, I'm happy when I'm appreciated. Even when I'm not appreciated, it's okay. I understand. I mean, I'm really a friendly guy. I mean, I think of everyone as my friends, and even those who are criticizing. I mean, I try to answer the criticism as best as I can because I want to explain. If they are not understanding something, I want to explain. And my core belief is that um, yeah, I'm not a politician. My core belief is that if we can make the Filipinos wealthier, I mean the Philippines wealthier, just like what other these other countries did, like Taiwan, like Singapore, South Korea, then everyone will get wealthier. Correct? I mean, it's not just one or a few or a select number of people. Everyone will benefit. Everyone. And I think we're slowly working our way up. I've seen the economic improvements over the course of my life, but you know, we're still a third world country. We admit to that, and we're still highly dependent on certain industries right now. The and I'm not. These industries are helping us, but we should start refocusing on certain other industries, which I mentioned during my talk, Kanina.
Yeah, yeah. It is very good for you to enlighten that we are not supposed to be dependent too much, especially on energy. No? So, Doc, you. This is a very intriguing question. Who is that president you think will be
Who's
supporting? Who's that president? Who do you think would be supporting your advocacy, the type of vision that you see, especially yung support na sinasabi mo, yung mga bata, no, estudyante na magagaling, dapat ito lalo pa silang gumagaling, no?
That's an interesting question, and I'm not officially endorsing a single candidate because we also work with surveys, so we have to remain impartial and unbiased when we conduct surveys. Um, I would say that most of them, I think, support this kind of initiative. I can't speak for them. I mean, from what I've heard, are mostly general platforms. Focus on I mean, what are the core issues? But I haven't really heard anyone. I think I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but specifically focus on that. What I think I've heard are platforms about corruption, about jobs and livelihood, and about maybe international relations, about COVID management. Yes, these are immediate concerns, and these are all very important. Jobs, um, because let's face it, especially with the Ukraine Russia war, life will be much harder for us um, in the near future at the very minimum. And we also have huge debt on us. And so um, the economy is very important. MSMEs are very important in the short run. But while we're doing that, I think we should be, like I said, reinvesting or refocusing on energy, on science and research and development, on education. Um, yeah, I would say siguro ano, I could say I think I could name maybe a few candidates I think who would support that, but yeah.
But you'd rather not.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'd rather them speak about it themselves than me
All
speaking
right.
for them. Yes.
Yeah. Because I belong in the inventors group, and because I mean, few weeks ago, the BBM announced their support for inventors. So now, we have flyers left and right of the support of the inventors and this candidate. But of course, no, tama ka naman doon, Doc Guido, kasi I'm one with you with some kind of parang minsan, nagiging very sad tayo that there is really a lack of support, and hindi ko pa rin masyadong nararamdaman yung Innovation Startup Act. No? That's a reality.
Right.
And that's just remain to be seen. So, Doc Guido, you do a lot of modeling. So you mean you also, aside from you've spent so many time with projecting COVID, no? You're also projecting vaccination. Nagmo-model ka rin ba?
Yeah, we actually did that on a early part of well, or sometime last year, another early part, but around June onwards of last year. But of course, right now the vaccine deployment has slowed down significantly. So last year the problem was allocation of vaccines because we didn't have enough supply. So now we have now the difference is we have supply, so it's just really the logistics. So it has changed, meaning now what's stopping the vaccination is the logistics and also the vaccine hesitancy in some areas. Pero before kasi we were looking at the optimal allocation.
So, yung mga ganito, Doc Guido, like example, before on the allocation naman, ngayon naman sobra-sobrang dami vaccine. So, yung modeling nyo, it will also end at some time, no? It will end. You don't do continuously. Kung hindi na kailangan, stop na.
Well, yes, parang ganon. And also, yun nga, we use the modeling for planning, like where should we put these vaccines and which should be allocated to. But since right now we have enough supply, hindi na siya ganon ka-important, kumbaga, that it will no longer serve the function. I mean, unlike in COVID monitoring, we still assess risk, um, risk areas, so that's still important because people would still like to know high risk, low risk na ba dito sa area ko or moderate risk pa ba siya. So we provide that data. Pero sa vaccines, yun nga, um, it's become a challenge with the deployment because of the hesitancy. So we hope na people get their booster shots, and then may mga areas like BARM, um, yung BARM yung medyo well-known na ano, medyo low yung vaccine coverage nila. But generally, in the highly urbanized cities, the vaccine coverage is already very high. So mostly boosters na lang focus dun.
I just like to ask directly to you: is vaccine safe for 5 years old to 12 years old?
The data says na it's safe naman for 5 to 11. Pero at the same time, as an adult, I recognize the right of the parent to decide for their children. So I respect that. Kasi I know some parents who are they can take the vaccine, pero they're a bit uneasy about, or they're not convinced, or they're not sure if they want to have their kids vaccinated, and that's a fair point, naman. If we're looking strictly at the data, it shows that it's safe, and the risk of I mean, one of the concerns is, for example, myocarditis. It's relatively low incidence, or not even relatively, it's low incidence for vaccines or as a side effect. So, which means that it's safe. But again, it's case to case basis right now. So, some parents may feel that their children may not be able to, or I mean, they're just being careful with their children. So the best way, if there's a parent who's not sure about whether to vaccinate their children or not, best way is for the parent to actually consult a medical doctor so that the medical doctor can make that assessment. Since I'm not a medical doctor, I cannot make that assessment. I can just give you overall statistics. Na the numbers show that it's safe naman. But some parents will say, okay, sige, safe, but there's a one in, let's say, 10,000 chance that the child will get this. It's a low probability, but they will think, but what if my child is that one in 10,000? So that's why I don't want to give advice that may affect others. And at least if a doctor gives that advice, there's a medical basis for it.
Yeah, I agree. Ano na nga eh, Doc, para kang, you're a statistician, you do prediction, you do modeling, prediction, pero parang minsan, hulaan mo nga, Doc, ano mangyayari in the future. May ganun dating, no? Nagiging doktor ka na, nagiging manghuhula ka pa. Pero, masarap lang tanongin eh, kasi because you have the numbers, no? Like,
Yeah.
for instance, is it really safe to have face-to-face classes?
That's also a very interesting one. I mean, in consultation with some medical doctors, it seems like it's safe naman. And siguro, if the numbers decrease even further, a lot of people will have more confidence. Because right now we're still getting 1,000 plus cases. But if the number of cases, kunyari, for example, decrease to 10 cases na lang in the whole country, I think even the most conservative people will go out and say, oh, okay, I mean, there's no more COVID. There's only 10 cases in the country. And that can happen. I mean, we could be down to about 100, 200 cases like in December. And I think it would be relatively safe. But given that, syempre, there's still some chance na if there are kids who are unvaccinated, there could be some spreader events. Um, if we have face to face for college students, it should be no problem because the college students, they're probably vaccinated, and they can, they're mature enough. They know the benefits of wearing face mask. High school probably okay lang din. Um, Problem is the 5 to 11 years old, the elementary level students, they're probably not going to be wearing face masks. So if we put them back in the classroom, we can anticipate that they will not be wearing face masks all the time. So we have to assume that they're not wearing face masks in the classroom. Bakit? Kasi, they're kids. They'll feel irritated. One will remove. And then when one child removes the face mask, others will follow. Kasi, hey, look, And it would be difficult for the teacher to be continuously monitoring and controlling that environment kasi hindi na siya makapagturo if the teacher's focus is, oh, you're not wearing your face mask. And even if they're wearing their face mask in the classroom, when they're outside the classroom, they'll probably not be wearing the face mask if they're eating together. So we have to assume that they'll be not wearing face mask, and we have to assess what the risks will be if they're not wearing face mask. Now, if the number of cases is very low, I think the risk, which we can easily calculate, will be significant, will be very low naman. And at the same time, even if some children get COVID, if it's Omicron, most likely it's going to be mild. But of course, we have there's that aspect of behavioral aspect that we have to consider, and this is not seen in the numbers. How would some parents react or feel if they have if they're careful, they have their children vaccinated, but there's an outbreak of COVID in the school? Will they feel safe or not? So it's behavioral. So that is I think a big component of having face-to-face classes for 5 to 11. I think like I said, high school and college students probably there's not a lot of worry or anxiety, but for children it could be different. So there's the risk aspect, there's the behavioral aspect that we have to consider.
You mentioned that your projection is 100 cases by December, daily cases.
Wait, no, no, it's not. I said that it's possible. Our projections actually, by March we will be less than 1,000. In fact, the other day we're almost at less than 1,000. So by next week, I'm expecting less than 1,000 cases per day. This could decrease even further, or this could plateau. I think because we are moving to a um, more open economy, which I think we have to do at some point. We have to take some risks. So um, the number of cases may not decrease that much, but I think hundreds would be possible. So if we get less than 1,000 cases by April, we could be down to maybe about 500 cases per day, which or less, which I think would be comparable to December last year before the Omicron surge. So I think that's really the level of risk is really low once we hit those levels.
So alert level 1 is real.
I
It's
think
real.
alert level one is going to happen next week. I think so. It looks likely, but in the NCR and the IATF has some metrics na if the lolos and lolas, the seniors are not 80% vaccinated, then they might not qualify for alert level one. So if you have a province na mababa yung vaccine coverage for the seniors, they might not be able to qualify for alert level one, even if the numbers are good. So I think
Oh.
that's the new metric. Yes.
Doc, what is lower than alert level 1? No alert. When will that happen?
Yeah, alert level one is almost, I think, almost like a new normal because we have 100% capacity in public transportation. We have 100% capacity in indoor in dine in. We could have face to face classes. We could have maybe concerts or sporting. So I think almost everything will be back. Ang difference lang is we'll still wear face masks. So so parang parang old normal but with face masks. So aning mas mababa pa dun, it will be maybe without face masks. Pero I don't know when that will be, when we will be ready for uh, maskless. They're already trying this out in many countries. I think the US is phasing into maskless. I think at some point we will gradually phase to maskless. Maybe initially sa outdoors. I mean, I'm not saying this will happen soon. I don't know what the timeline is, but most likely what will happen will be at some point outdoors hindi na required yung face mask, but indoors required pa rin. So that would be the first phase, and then later, even indoors, baka hindi na required. So I think it will partly depend on also the number of cases and if there's a new variant or there's no new variant that we're seeing in the rest of the world.
So the hybrid class remains and the work from home remains.
I think they're encouraging, you know, face to face, offices. But I think there's, ako personally, and just personal, uh, I think work from home can also be productive. And if I'm not mistaken, I think in some countries or in the Emirates, in UAE, I think when they went back to face to face work or offices, they reduced the work week to maybe 4 days a week, which I think could happen here. Kasi, alam naman natin, especially in NCR, when we go to work, a lot of the time is spent in the public transportation. And that actually helps. I mean, that actually kills our productivity. Diba? I mean, if you spend 2 hours each way, that's 4 hours of your day, in the public transportation, and that's lost productivity. I mean, even if you're just sleeping in the public transportation, you're still not sleeping optimally, and so you know, uh, so either we fix the, let's say fix the traffic problem, and there's some other problems, but or we could have something like hybrid, work with work from home. For classes, I think it will still be hybrid for now, and then eventually, maybe by June, July, or August, you know, at the start of the academic year, they could have the face-to-face classes. But I can't speak for the CHED or the Department of Education, but that's just my guess is what will happen.
Okay. Naglulusan yung camera ko sa kapila. Nagpi-feedback lang ako. Sige, turn off ko na muna. Okay lang ba? Nagpi-feedback ako, Ella?
Sakto lang man. Okay lang.
Okay. Before I pass on the mic to Ella no for some questions. Last na question na to kasi grabe interested. Very interesting kausap si Doc. Parang hindi ako naubusan ng tanong. My God, siguro po nagharap tayo, we can talk all day long talking
Yeah,
about all
I
these
hope I look forward to that.
Yeah. Ano lang eh, no, you've mentioned about Ukraine, Russia, and I just read in the news this morning that the same time that Russia was about to invade Ukraine, it's also the same time that China airplane were found in the territory of Taiwan. Nakakakita ka ba ng ganong scenario that sakupan na ba to? It is an invasion name game for now.
Yeah, it's scary actually, Doc. And I mean, yeah, I'm a mathematician. I do mathematical projections, but I've been following this then. I mean, developments, and there are some. I mean, I think some columnists have written about this, and it seems like China is very interested in Taiwan, and we have to understand. The perception of China is that China still owns Taiwan. Taiwan is just a state. And ako personally, I see Taiwan as a sovereign country, but it's not internationally recognized as a sovereign country. So, I mean, many countries don't recognize Taiwan as a separate country, although they might trade with them like it's a separate country. So there is definitely a concern that China may step in. And what people are looking at, and this is also concerning, yung Russia coming into Ukraine. I mean, people are surprised, like the audacity of Russia to just, think they can just walk in and, you know, invade Ukraine. But at the same time, people are looking at what the West's reaction is, what NATO's reaction is. Kasi NATO is, they have packages of sanctions, sanctions upon sanctions upon sanctions, and they feel that this is enough. But maybe Putin doesn't care because he's moving ahead. So basically, China is looking at this with interest because they want to see how the U.S. is reacting. Because if the U.S. is saying, "Okay, we're not gonna get involved," there could be um, that could come into play if and when China decides to step in and try to occupy Taiwan. Now, of course, Taiwan will. I mean, Taiwan's not a, ano, I mean, not a pushover. It has military. I mean, Ukraine din naman, but I think Taiwan's more. It's got a more mature military. But of course, it's not China. I mean, China's very big, so Taiwan will definitely need a lot of help. And I don't know if Taiwan doesn't get help from the U.S. if countries like Japan, for example, or South Korea, if they have anything they could help, or if the other Asian countries will band together um, against China. So those are important, very interesting things that may arise in the future. So that's why we're following this story closely to see what will happen. Now, if the U.S. decides to step up and oppose Russia, now of course it will have big consequences. I mean, this is already, some people are concerned that this may be brewing into a third world war or something like that. And ayaw naman natin pangunahin. I mean, like I said, it's very concerning. We're hoping that it could still be resolved diplomatically. But yes, I mean, my projection here is maybe as good as anybody's. This is not my expertise, but I've been following it closely and watching it with interest.
Yeah, that's a good point of view. Actually, um, naalala ko si the Expeditions of Magellan, no? Na sasakop ka na lang ng land, no? That's kind of thing that enter in my mind, eh. Parang pwede na pala yun. With surprise, no?
It's surprising because this is 2022. I mean, siguro nung 1980s, countries were still doing that, or even 1990s. Pero ngayon, we should be more civilized, we should be more advanced, but you know, we're still going back to the parang when was World War II, diba? 1945. That was, not 100 years ago, but maybe 70 years ago, or maybe 75 years ago.
Yeah. Para tayong bumabalik para tuloy totoo yung mga movies na napapanood natin yung Back to the Future. No? Parang mangyayari mga ganun scenarios. Okay. This time, I'd like to pass on the mic to Ella for some more personal touch questions. Kasi I know that a lot of people is looking up at you right now. No? I don't think may hindi pa sa'yo nakakakilala. Sige, Ella.
Hello po, ayan, good evening Doc Guido, ayan. So, amazing talaga si Doc kasi ang dami mong viewers. First time ko namin magkaroon ng guest na sobrang dami ko ng viewers. Kahit hindi pa kayo nag-discuss kanina, ang dami na, Maria. So, very quick lang po ang question ko po regarding po sa mga nabanggit lang din po ninyo kanina. Kasi you've mentioned that parang lately po yung nagmamanual na po kayo ng pag-extract ng data. So, ito po mga data po ba, Doc, na ni-extract po nila? Ito po ba ay galing sa, ano po? Ano po ang, saan po ito nang galing? Yung mga
Yeah,
data
it's
na
right.
manual na po.
Yeah, it's the DOH national aggregate data. So they have some data on testing, and we extract that data to get the positivity rate. They have some data on hospitals, and we extract that data to get the hospital utilization rate. And then they have the case information data. So we extract that data to get data on kunyari, specific cities and provinces. Now, before they would have the data drop, and we can download the data as an Excel file, and then we can process that. May extractor up that will process that. And although I still do the calculations of the reproduction number, etc., um, it's still easier for me, and I can look at all the cities. Pero ngayon, because I can only access the website, I can only look at highly urbanized cities and provinces. And yung positivity rate, I infer that out of the data, and ganun din yung hospital utilization. So it's made my work a little more challenging, more interesting. Dati yun nga, I can do it, maybe within minutes, 20, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Again, it takes me about 3 hours every night to, extract data manually. So it's not easy work, but okay lang naman. Yeah, and because we need the national DOH data. Now, we also have access to some local data, some LGU data, and that helps us identify the trends kasi sometimes may mga backlogs sa DOH data. So it may seem like cases are increasing, but actually luma na palang ibang cases dun. So stuff like that is important para we can identify the trends and make the proper projections. Because kung maling data namin, mali na rin yung projections namin. But so far, our projections have still been, I would say, accurate. Kasi like, isang projection namin nung January, we said na by Feb 14, we'll be down to 500 cases per day sa
Yeah.
NCR. And then we got 485 cases no Feb 14. So it was still close.
Thank you, Doc, for that information. Actually, very interesting po yung mga sinabi mo kanina, no? Parang it was really a good news po for everybody who are here tonight na to hear such information na talagang naglo-lower case na po yung basis doon ng ating situation po ng pandemic. And parang na-mention niyo po kanina na going to, hopefully, alert level 1. So, Doc, another question po is, how do you balance po your time, especially sa inyong health, handling this kind of work po that you have? Kasi parang I heard, professor din po kayo sa UP, and at the same time, parang may third-party company po kayo. And with this work, how do you balance po? How was your health?
Well, I'm still healthy naman, so thankfully. In fact, for a while I got exposed to COVID. Um, I mean, sometime in January, and then the people who were exposed with me, um, most of them, most of them got the COVID, and for some reason I didn't get it. So I don't know, maybe my vaccine was good or maybe my health was good. So okay pa naman yung health ko. So thank you for asking though. But I try to walk when I can walk. Um, you know, so I can at least keep myself in good health. I go out naman. Hindi naman ako nakakulong. I'm not super paranoid about COVID, but when I go out, I just practice caution. I practice health protocols. I wear double face mask. I don't. I generally don't eat indoors. I usually eat al fresco when I go out. I mean, even now, siguro when the cases decrease even further, siguro I'll be okay now with eating indoors. Um, yeah, and although I think yun nga, the cases are fairly low na rin naman. Regarding my other, yeah, I work, I do research, I teach, I advise students. Meron ako mga master's students advisee. I'm working with them on their thesis. So sometimes but they're very understanding because sometimes we have a, thesis meeting, and then I say, okay, wait, next time na lang or tomorrow na lang because, I suddenly have an interview or a webinar, something like that. But they're very nice and understanding. So admittedly, a lot of my time spent on the data extraction, posting on Twitter about what we're seeing, and then some part of my time I spend on interviews. Um, there have been days where I think I got 12 or 15 interviews in one day. Na halos sunod-sunod. So, yeah, but I could think that okay, I don't have to take those interviews, but I take those interviews because of the public service and because I want to, I want to help and I want to spread information. So I think the fact that I know that I am helping people is giving me the strength to continue doing what I'm doing kahit na, medyo nakakapagod, yes, admittedly. I mean, some people think na papansin lang ako because I like being. I actually I'm actually a person who enjoys his privacy, but yun nga, this is I feel something that I must do for the public, for the Filipinos. I mean, remember, I was in the U.S. I could have worked in the U.S. And if some people say, bayaran yan or something, I mean, I could have made more money working in the U.S. After my Ph.D. But I decided to go back home. Bakit? Well, for one thing, I'm also part of the um, government programs. So I studied in, I mean, when I was in high school, I was a scholar. In college, I was a scholar. So in a way, parang it's my way of giving back to the Filipinos for, for the taxes na spent, you know, helping me become what I have become. And I could have been, just thinking of myself and okay, I'll just stay in the U.S., get my job there. Um, my field is fairly in demand naman in the U.S. I finished biomedical engineering PhD, so it's an emerging field. I could get, I have opportunities there, or even not in the U.S. but also in many other countries. Pero yun nga, like I said, anyway, I have modest needs naman. I don't need a big fancy house or something. I mean, if I have, I can feed myself, a place to sleep on. In fact, whenever I make some extra money, I like you know uh, you know sending help to certain charities. Recently, we've been helping in the Batak community in Palawan. I mean, we have some friends that are building houses for them. So may mga
Uh-huh.
ganun. We have some social interests then. I mean, I'm not giving as much as I could. I mean, I'm not making myself poor naman, but I like to help and give what I can.
Alright. Thank you, Doc. Doc Ria, do you have some follow-up question po? Nakamute pa po
Yeah.
yata.
Pagka,
Titingnan ko.
pagkapareho sila ni Doc Caster, Pisay and UP. At naging
Oh,
guest din namin si Doc Caster, ang the cool neuroscientist. Yan.
Yes,
He was our guest.
neuroscientist.
Yeah, yan ang kanyang ano. Okay, so siguro Ella, our magic questions.
yes. Doc Guido, I have a question for you. What is your best project?
Best, sorry,
What is your best project po so far?
project.
Yep. Po.
Um, well, I mean, I could think of siguro the Octa Research would be the best project that I have worked on. Yes.
Alright. Sir, do you have any regrets in life?
Yeah, I think people in general will have regrets in life, but at the same time, we also have to recognize this is the path. I mean, the path that we got is maybe the path that was meant for us, and all those small regrets, small things that okay, disappointment here, disappointment, um, help shape us into what we are today. So, it's like taking the positive from the negative, parang ganun. So, I think I'm okay with my life. There are probably some regrets. Maybe I could have done this better, etc., etc. But that's all part of life, all part of our learning experience. And I just at some point I decided, nah, you just follow a general principle. Na firstly, I don't stress over things that I cannot control. That's number one. So because if it's something it happened, accident or something, I mean, it happened. I mean, that's beyond my control. I just focus on things that I can't control, that are within my means, my skills, or my power. So good. And I can't regret over things that I cannot control anyway. If it's something I can control, but I did not do it, well, then I could have a reason why I didn't do it at that time. Baka pagod ako or something. So so yeah, so I generally don't stress over, you know, things um, that I might not have done in the past, and yeah, I'm generally at peace with my life now. I think, when my time comes, I feel like I've I've done enough, and I think now, I mean, there are still some things I want to do, in my life, and maybe later kukwento ko na lang yan, not now, but may mga bucket list pa ako, but I think generally, I'm okay with my life.
Sir, you have mentioned
Ah,
a while ago, no? Yes
just
po.
follow up lang kay Doc. Kasi sabi niya,
Okay.
he don't stress for things that he cannot control. But whenever nga na meron ka naman in your full control, but you're so busy, you don't do anything, you just accept it as it is, no? I mean,
Yeah. Well,
that's past. So no regrets.
yeah, yeah. Maybe in the past I might have some regrets, but nowadays, parang I don't really regret much on things. I mean, if I miss an opportunity here, well, okay, I missed it. Ganun.
Okay. Ayan. So, Doc, you've mentioned kasi a while ago, no, na parang in my interpretation, parang hindi ka masyadong mag-garbo na tao na yung mga malaking bahay. Parang you're contented with what you have, maka, meron ka lang makain, matulugan. Parang enough na sa'yo yun. So, with that, Doc, my question is, um, what is your best and most significant investment in life?
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, hindi naman sa wala akong aspirations in life. I mean, I just have modest aspirations. So, I'm not really striving for, uh, very fancy car or something like that. So that's what I mean. I still have to provide for my needs. I think my best investment is siguro investment in people, in friends. I would consider that to be my best investment. And it's true what they say. You can tell a person by their friends. So the kind of friends that you keep around yourself will generally be an indication of what kind of person you are. So if you want to say, okay, what kind of person si ganito, what kind of person kasi Dr. Ria, I can look at Dr. Ria's friends and then I can say, okay, maybe, she's like that, parang ganun. Um, so hopefully, yeah. So I think that applies to me as well, hopefully.
Okay.
These
Doc,
are that's ano,
yeah, yes,
Ella.
ma'am.
That's why we have to choose our friends. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and sometimes our friends choose us as well. So
Yeah, true, true, true.
Alright. So my another question here for you is, may we know who is your hero or idol or someone you mirror your life with?
well, for me it was personal. When I met my professor in the U.S., Jay Humphrey, he's a well-known biomedical engineer. He's written many books. I consider him like my second dad. I mean, my dad's also my hero, but this was like my second dad in the U.S. I mean, he's a white guy, of course. Very, very respectable looking. I mean, he evokes a lot of respect, even physically when you just look at him. But ang maganda is, he is inside what he also projects. And so he was my hero for graduate school, for striving to be the best that I could be. Um, yeah, so yeah, I have a lot of heroes, but he would probably be one of the first ones that come to my mind.
Thank you, Doc, for
Just curious, Doc Octa. How many can you still count your publications?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not super well published like others. I think I have mga 20 plus
Oh,
publications,
ang
research
dami.
papers. Yeah. Not like
Alright.
Dr. Custer. Dr. Custer has more. So
Podcaster has 100 plus.
yes, 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 yes. He's
Yun
very,
ang hobby
very
niya. Oo.
right. That's his hobby. I mean, I think I could write more. In fact, over this past 2 years, I could have written maybe three, four papers on COVID, based on what I discovered, what I understood. I think I will still be writing those papers, and maybe will eventually, I don't know, write a long article or even a book about our experiences with COVID. Pero hopefully magawa ko yun. That will be some
Good luck
investment
for
in time.
that. Sana magawa mo rin. Doc, may we also know what else you want to achieve or what else remains undone?
Yeah, well, yun nga, I think I've done what I was going to say a while ago, yung nasa bucket list ko. I am also very into music, and so what I still haven't achieved um, is to actually record my own songs, my own compositions. And I've been planning it for the past few years, and then COVID hit. So I think, siguro, one of these days, you'll find it on YouTube or Spotify or something like that. So I'm gonna
Oh,
invest in that. So I'm in the talks with some of my friends. Um, the thing with me is, because of my experiences in life, medyo multi-genre na yung mga songs ko. So there are some jazz songs, there are some medyo popish songs, and some indie sounding songs. So medyo iba-iba yung scope nila. So yeah, I think it would be interesting. I'm not going to be singing it, but I write the songs, I arrange it, and I play the guitar. So ayun. When I was younger, I wanted to be a musician, but of course, common sense took over, and I don't have regrets being not being a musician. In fact, in college, kasabayan ko, uh, during my college days, we were actually in communications in a Buddy and in a Raymond, um, and si Marcus, who are from Eraserhead. So they were actually my friends in college. I mean, I would say very close friends, but they were also into music, and I was into music. I actually had a band in college, pero yun, I left my musical to pursue other pursuits. Ito nga, yung PhD. So, but I could still, I mean, I still have all these musical ideas in me. So, I'd like to share them to the world. So, hopefully, yun nga, ma-fulfill ko na tong bucket list ko na to.
yun. Sana mamaya, Ma'am Ria, may pa-sample si Sir.
Meron, pag na-record ko na yan, I can't sing it because I'm not a great singer, but I'm gonna get someone good to sing
Few
those
lines
songs.
lang,
Yeah.
Sir. But Sir, may we also know if you are not who you are right now, then who would you be? Hindi kayo naging engineer or scientist? Ano
Well,
kayo?
siguro yun. Maybe I would have been a musician, and I was that close to becoming a musician. I would say I'm a competent musician naman at that time. So yeah. So we actually played in UP and some other clubs.
Oh,
Ganon. There was one time when we opened for the Dawn. Back when the Dawn was still very, very, very popular. So meron naman kami mga musical claim to fame. But yun nga, I did not pursue that track. And by the time na I was pursuing my PhD, sikat na yung Eraserhead. So they skyrocketed past us in terms of popularity. But that's okay. I mean, they deserved it.
well, sikat din kayo ngayon, Dok, ah. Tinitignan ka namin sa TV kung saan-saan ka namin sinusundan sa Google, sa research namin yung name mo, binabasa namin yung mga updates. But anyway, Doc,
Actually, I don't know why we need to wait for what Octa will say kapag may mga
yes.
news sa TV. Parang pag may news, abangan pa namin kung ano sinabi ni Octa. Kasi parang gano'n eh, di ba? Ano sinabi niya?
Mm-mm.
Ay, salamat.
Kaya sikat kayo, Doc. But my last question po for you is, how can you help the feminine genius advocacy of Dr. Ria Liza?
Well, first, well, I have to ask what the advocacy is. If it's feminism, it's my understanding. If it's to empower females or ano,
Empower women.
I've been ano, I mean, I've always been supportive of empowering females. I mean, even way back. I mean, when I see men who are abusive of their wives or their girlfriends, it actually hurts me inside, and I've always been against that. So um, I'm not sure how I can answer that. Yeah, I have some advocacies for research and in medical, remote area medical, and maybe for green energy. And I will probably have to think of. I mean, I'm not an activist in the sense now. I don't go out and you know join protests or something. I prefer to keep my work in the office. I mean, but maybe talking about it is something that we can, something that can help with the advocacy. I mean, I definitely think, and I'm not just saying this because I'm in your show, but I think my perspectives are aligned with your perspectives in terms of female empowerment, and I'm happy to see naman that females are gaining more recognition. There have been improvements. I mean, they say that Philippines is one of the most gender equal nations, but at the same time, there are still some challenges because women still don't make as much as the average male counterpart in the Philippines. We know that there's still some salary disparity. So I think there's still some work. Maybe we can lobby for it, or maybe in the future, I don't know how it could help. Maybe craft laws for female, for protecting females. So ayun, that's what I could give right now.
Thank you so much, Doc Guido. Of course, our advocacy here is to give livelihood, empowerment. Like this show is empowering as well. So every week yan, we invite the best speakers so that we can partake journeys, di ba? Challenges, breakthroughs na magagamit nila in their daily lives. And I know that in the future, if we would need your help, yung sinasabi mo, mga bagay na kailangan para sa mga babae, and we thought that we need you especially in mathematics. I hope that alam ko naman hindi mo kami hihindian. Okay. So thank
Hindi
you.
ka kaya hihindihan. Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Ian and Ella. Hindi ka kaya hihindihan. So, again, pasensya na kanina. I was really in a very important meeting na, in fact, but, I'm always here. I committed and, you can count on me naman if you need my support.
All right. Mag-extend lang tayo ng konti kasi Doc Guido, hindi kasi tayo alis ng walang Pinoy henyo, no? So on our chat, you just have to type 5 words that very significantly you mentioned this today, and our guest will have to guess that because there's a GCash installed for this, no? 5 questions, 5 words that you
Five
want to
words.
be 5 words. You just write on the private chat. 5 words, and
Okay.
then kayo rin na magbibigay ng clue, no? So that the audience can guess, participate. Tignan natin baka kung nakikinig pa ba sila. Hello to our almost 4,000 viewers. Grabe, Ella.
Wow!
Ako magbibigay ng clue. Paano
Ikaw
yun?
din yung magbibigay ng clue. Ikaw din magbibigay ng word.
Ang dami ng viewers, Doc. You're so ano na.
Si Doc Guido yan eh.
Oo.
Hindi ko alam
Very
paano
popular kasi siya.
magbigay ng clue tungkol dito. Wait, masyado yata mahirap yung bigay kong words.
Oo.
Wag pang UP na tanong, ha?
Kaya mo lang sa
Wag pang Pisay na tanong.
Ganun. mga word, di ba? Sabi niyo.
That you
Um,
significantly mention. Okay. So hello sa mga viewers natin while nag-wait tayo ng question. Army, thank you for being a member. Meron tayong new member of the Feminine
Yeah.
Genius. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Yes.
mega love shoutout po sa lahat ng viewers ni Dr. Ria from the Feminine Genius Live via Facebook and sa kanyang channel po, Dr. Ria Liza. Ayan, so parang ang dami po ng viewers ngayon, ma'am, no? Sobrang dami po ng audience po na sumusunod po kay Dr. Guido David. Ayan, so ganun siya ka mainit ngayon sa ano ma'am, sa madlang people. Kasi
Yeah,
syempre,
actually, Ella, we've had I'm checking, no, we've had around three almost 3,000 plus views in YouTube alone, and then we
wow.
have about 1,000 plus now in Facebook. Okay, so ayan, nasa number 2 pa lang ang ating professor.
Ilan ba? Four ba or five?
Five.
God.
Words. Ayun. So,
Okay.
mega love shoutout ko lang po sa lahat ng team na nandito and team helpful, no? Especially sa kanilang yun, yung mga admin dyan, sa Showcase World, and nandiyan din si Ma'am Kat, si Rain Rose Channel all the way from USA, si Jeannie Fishing, hindi ko nakita, parang sumilip yata, and then Katnil TV, Happy DTV, Sir Ronel Ramos, Jofi Honey, and of course, si Madam Army Salazar. Thank you po sa pamember natin dyan. Nag-upgrade po siya agad-agad from I think from humility na upgrading to kindness and patience.
Devotion. Akala ko 5 and devotion na siya eh.
Ano ma'am, kindness and patience. Ayan. So,
Kindness and patience. Oo.
thank you so much, Ma'am Army. And may galap shoutout po sa ating sige, love team natin na nandito, si Hanel. Ayan, nagtatayo daw sila ng building na Hanel. Ayun ako ba sila pinagmamasdan. Ayan, naglalampigan sila sa Ledget. And may galap shoutout din po kay Yola May, kay Elsie Channel, of course, hindi mawawala dyan ang ating very supportive Tita Centeno Kirk, and then si Mami Orlin Cacadilo, Sir Javier Centeno, and sa lahat ng mga loyal viewers ko ni Dr. Ria Liza sa Facebook at sa YouTube channel. Please don't forget to invite your friends for every Saturday po ito, 9 p.m. up to 12 midnight. And aside from nag-enjoy po tayo, natututo rin tayo sa journey po na pinag-discuss sa akin ng bawat guest ko na Dr. Ria. Kaya nakita niyo naman po ang mga guest ko na Ria ay hindi po basta-basta. Ayan, mga professor po
Okay.
yan, engineer, scientist, di ba? Iba-iba po
All
ang
right.
kanilang achievement. Back to
So
you,
I
Dr.
think
Ria.
we have the 5 words already. Konting
Alright.
ano lang tayo, extension ng time, no? Okay, so we have word number 1, Doc.
Okay, so do
Clue.
I start na?
Opo.
Okay, sorry I forgot the rules. Ano yung mga clues na ano? Basta hindi ko pa rin mention yung word na yan. Or yung any of the
Yes.
words. Yan lang ba yun?
Yes.
All right. So current event, international event, hindi pwedeng synonym, no?
Pwede rin naman medyo yung hindi direct synonym.
Hindi direct synonym. Okay. International event in ongoing Europe.
Mm.
Mhm. Vladimir Putin.
Is this one accepted or not?
I think
Not.
pwede na.
Pwede na to? Okay. Russia, Ukraine. Or this one. I have to decide.
Ayan na lang. Sorry.
Sorry, Ronel, kasi nagkulang ka ng word na war. Kasi talagang nilagay niya is with the war. The word war, no? All right. So
Okay,
it will be Ma'am
congratulations.
Kat. Congratulations, Ma'am
Congrats,
Kat.
Ma'am Kat.
Question number 2.
Okay, this is something. Good luck to everyone. So this is something that Octa Research does. We make blank that can be used for planning. Mm, um, you know, we say that um, yeah, coming Octa Research, but we say that we give this. Uh, I think that's okay now. That's
That's
acceptable.
okay.
Yeah.
Pag is acceptable, projecting or yeah, projection dapat eh, projecting. All right. Ma'am Kat. And then third question,
Iba naman
bawi ka
manalo. So,
Ronel. Bawi ka Ronel. Oh,
okay. All right. Good luck. So third one. So this includes. This is a general description. Kasama dyan yung solar, wind. I mentioned this kanina. Solar, wind, renewable.
yes.
Good. Very
Good.
good.
Very good. You really have a valedictorian for today. And then question number 4.
Yeah, this is a band I mentioned kanina. Uh, Filipino rock band. I mentioned some of their members. Uh, Raymond, Buddy. Um, hindi yata kilala.
Kilala nila yan. Ayun.
uh,
We have
Ayan.
Chof. Okay, Chof.
Congratulations.
Okay,
Okay.
madami actually, madami. And then, kasi we have 6 seconds delay. Eh. And then we
Okay,
have
okay.
the last word.
Okay, good luck. So this one is what we're expecting in the Philippines within this year. They're saying we will move to this one. Baka may delay lang. So we will. Okay. Okay. Aha, meron na.
Okay, meron na. Congratulations, Lantwin Vlogs. Okay, now, so, ayan na, tapos ang ating Pinoy Henyo, we still have a lot of viewers as of this moment. Di talaga tayo iniwan. Um, Actually, Doc, kasi syempre hindi talaga umaalis yung guest namin ng walang patikim ba ng talent. Kailangan talaga, obligado. So, pwede mo ba kaming paringgan ng talent mo? Kahit konti, kahit short talent.
Yes.
Okay. Wait,
Obvious naman kung ano yung talent niya, di ba? Kasi sinabi niya kanina
sabi
music
ka na.
eh.
Wait, babalik ako saglit. Is it okay?
Sige, okay. It's
Give me
okay,
some.
it's okay. Alright, so playing guitar. O, pero hinuhulaan ni Chop, playing guitar.
Oo, panalo sana siya.
Okay. So, hello sa lahat ng ating mga viewers. Thank you for standing by with us. Excellent tayo ng content. But, even if it's a short, medyo delay tayo, no? Pero, punong-puno yung discussion, no, Ella, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Hitik na hitik yung ating Ang dami ring mga
Oh,
nasagot na tanong ko.
parang worth it po na naghintay talaga sila rin.
Yeah,
Is
it's
this
all
live,
worth it.
ma'am, from Richard Aragon? Hello, Sir
Yeah, this is
Richard.
live. Yes, hi, Sir Richard. This is live. And we do have live every Sunday at 9 p.m. to 12. Wala kaming absent, Richard. Every... Ayan na, ang ating interface.
Yun na.
I'm not sure, naririnig niyo ba?
Yes, we can hear it.
Yes po.
That's not any song in particular. I'm just playing parang ano siya. Like arpeggios. Yan, okay na ba yan? Saka na yung the rest pag ano na. Pag
Okay.
na-record ka na.
Yeah. Tinuhula ako
Shout
yung
out,
song. Eh.
ay hinula. Pwede
Yeah.
nga na.
Yeah, shout out to Richard Aragon. I think
Yes, shout out to friend ko siya sa, hindi ko alam nanonood siya dito. I'm not sure kung may, wala na ako alam ng mga songs eh, so I've been keeping out of, you know, kasi when you're composing, you try not to be connected to songs that are known kasi baka ma-influence yung composition. So yeah. Sorry, I can't play a known song. Maybe I could play one, but ano. Kaya lang di ko kakantahan eh. So, ayun. Sorry.
hindi pala
Ang
tutuloy.
galing.
Okay na yan.
Alright.
Yan.
So, thank you, Doc Guido. Grabe. Actually, sabi namin kanina, very short in time, but very meaty. So before we end this conversation, Doc, actually, if I'm not a civil engineer, I should have taken BS Mathematics, no? But I was, not allowed by my parents. Sabi nila mag-engineering ka. How fascinating, na kanina nagdi-discuss ka, very fascinated ako sa lahat ng ginagawa mo. Parang very endless, no? Endless, walang katapusan na pwede mong gawa ng study, projection, etc. So my last question would be, how a mathematician helped in pandemic, and what do you think will happen in the decision-making process if there had been no Octa research that had been there with the IITF?
Yeah, thank you again, Dr. Ria, and everyone for participating in this webinar. Again, thank you for your patience. I promise you it was a really important meeting that I was attending, but I can't give some details. Yeah, I actually finished engineering then. I was a BS math student, and I did my PhD in biomedical engineering, and we studied. So biomedical engineering is a newer discipline, um, not so popular yet here in the Philippines, but it involves using engineering methods to come up with solutions for medicine. So yun yung story ng biomedical engineering. So I studied artificial lens and cataracts. Some also study stents that are used for angioplasty, yung inilalagay sa loob ng ugat. And then there are other things, artificial pacemakers, etc. Some are involved in nanotechnology. Some are involved in optical imaging devices like MRI, CT scan, etc. atomic force microscopy. So may mga iba-ibang technologies. And unfortunately, I don't do a lot of research now on biomedical engineering because it requires laboratory and stuff like that and students. So I still do most of my research on mathematics. So so how I help the pandemic with the projections and with risk assessment. And I mean, yeah, I would like binubuhat sarili kong bangko, but I admit na a lot of people actually use my work in projections for making certain decisions, not just government, but also the private sector. So they want to have an idea kung kailan magiging okay situation, and then they might expect now they can reopen their businesses. And this is important. I mean, of course, generally ECQ's lockdowns hurt businesses, but they're also hurt by lack if they don't have information so that they can plan. So at least they know that the situation is improving and they will probably be reopening their businesses, it helps them a lot, and of course it helps the local government. On many occasions, the local governments actually have asked for my help. Minsan may mga province, they come to me and they say, okay, anong situation sa province namin? And we give that advice, and we're happy when we're able to help that advice. So yun nga, using mathematics and modeling, we're able to help a lot of people. Hopefully, I can continue doing that. So, yan.
Thank you so much. Marami din nagpapasalamat sa iyo dito sa ating audience, no. Malaking naitutulong mo para sa bansa natin. Syempre kasama kami doon, no. So kudos daw to Octa Research, salute to you, etc. May God bless you. So thank you so much, Doc Guido. Thank you for the public service.
Thank you po.
Mabuhay ka.
Thank you so much. Mabuhay din. Mabuhay ang feminine niya.
Thank you po.
Thank you so much po. Wow, Ma'am Ria, sana all.
Sana all. Oh, yeah, it's a very wonderful experience. It's a very wonderful interview. Daming nating natutunan direct from the horse's mouth. Lahat ng pwede natin tanungin, parang pwede na nating malaman from him, no? So, what's our key takeaway for this night, Ella?
Ay, actually, ayan, sorry naman. May binabasa akong chat. Well, sa dami kasi ma'am, no, isa lang ang tinitignan ko doon sa mga na-share ko ng ating guest kanina. Tinitignan ko yung kanyang, yung strategies niya, kung paano siya magtatrabaho. Kumbaga, nandun na rin yung pagiging humble talaga niya. Nakikita ko yun. Yun kasi ang tinitignan ko na takeaway yung paano gumagawa yung isang tao. Kasi sa kabila ng kanyang mga achievement, kasi given talaga yung kanyang talino mo, di ba? Parang ang dami niyang ginagawa, nagre-research siya, nagtuturo siya. I know, ginagawa naman natin yung Ma'am Ria, especially kay Ma'am Ria, kasi mentor din yung si Ma'am Ria. Pero with the, yung bagong birth niya ngayon, parang hindi ko ma-imagine pa paano niya na-handle. Pero nakita naman natin, no, tinanggap niya yung trabaho at masaya siya. Hindi siya naghahangad talaga ng fancy car, yung sinabi niya kanina. So, ibig sabihin, ma'am, nandoon yung, you have to work hard pala for the people. Yun yung nakita ko sa kanya. Trabaho siya for the benefit of the people at para talaga makatulong siya. Hindi yung para sa pansarili lang niya. Yun yung nakikita kong takeaway ko sa kanya. And na-amaze ako sa kanya, magkakaiba siya. Kakaiba siya. Tsaka, madalas siyang binanggit napaka-honest ko niya pagdating ko sa data. Ano siya? Nagiging, kumbaga, mathematician talaga siya, ma'am. What mathematics tells, yun ko talaga ang sinasabi. Yun.
Yes. So, correct. Very amazing guy. Very interesting guy. Hindi ka mauubusan ng sasabihin. Lahat ng sinasabi niya, punong-puno ng laman, etc. Syempre achiever si Doc, no? And of course, key takeaway ko, do not regret on things that you cannot control. Tama naman yun, no? No regrets on things I cannot control. Sometimes yung mga ganun kasi tayong bagay, ba't hindi natin ginawa, ba't hindi ganito, eh, hindi mo naman pala within their control, so no regrets. And also, tama rin yung sinabi niya, if there are things that within your control, but still you don't do it, then pangatawanan mo yun, di ba? That's how you react on certain things, okay? And indeed, this night was very meaty. We've learned so much, Ella. And thank you sa lahat ng ating mga guests for standing by, no, in spite of the technical difficulty kanina or the buti nga kahit sobrang important yung meeting ni Doc is napagbigyan tayo tonight,
Yeah.
no? Yeah.
Ganun talaga si Dr. Ria.
Oo. Yung nagbigyan niya tayo. Oo.
Ano talaga siya? Meron talaga siyang pagpapahalaga sa women din. Kasi na-mention din niya yun na I believe in women's rights.
Yeah. All right. So,
Dahil
So-
dyan, kailangan mo sagutin ko.
oo.
Don't
We
stress.
we cannot delay more, no, kasi we're already extended for 18 minutes. Thank you so much for always being with us. Do not forget ba importante, March is Women's Month. I hope to see all of you fill up the teka lang, the Google. Fill up the Google forms that I have pasted on the wall, on the chat box. Fill that up for your simple wish. And we will be having our wish fulfillers by next month. So, apat na month yan. Apat na weeks yan next month. Baka apat na month. Alright? So, see you again next week. Salamat sa inyo lahat, sa ating mga suking ka-FG. Salamat. Ang dami nagre-request ng coffee. Sige, magbibigay ng coffee si Ella. Abangan nyo. Sige, type all coffee. Type the coffee. Magbibigay si Ella. Sige, type coffee.
Sige lang,
Coffee,
kasi
type
sisirin ko siya.
coffee. Type coffee. Oo. Busog na busog tayo sa information. Nabubusog pa tayo.
Na ganyan. Sige na, mag-type na kayo. Wala kayong
Please
shy.
fill up the list. Okay? Pag wala po sa araw na yon, walang wish ha. Walang wish, kailangan nagdoon kayo. Pag nabunot kayo, kailangan present kayo. Alright. So, ayan na yung mga coffee. Nagdadatingan na yung mga
Ria,
coffee.
copy-paste ko lang ha, yung mga nag-type.
Yeah. Coffee.
Sayang naman. Pang 3-in-1 lang ang kaya ko ha. Pagpasensya niyo na.
Type coffee.
Si Ma'am Ria, kaya niya magpa-Starbucks siguro. Or yung medyo hindi naman Starbucks. Ano ba yung
Baka 4-in-1. Kaya ko na yung 4-in-1. May kasama water. Kasi 4 sugar, milk, coffee, water. Thank you sa lahat ng nanood.
Kailangan ko palang
Dami.
i-review kung sino yung nanalo sa Eraser Heads kasi parang may umaapila. Siya yung nauna, hindi nakita.
Yeah,
i-review ko
paki-review na lang, yes. So, review na lang tayo.
Yes.
Coffee.
Type coffee po. Type coffee.
Type
Ang
coffee.
nakikita ko pala dito si Sir Javier at si Sir Raniel.
Ang dami eh.
Ay, ang
Ang dami na eh.
Pinood ko eh.
Ang dami na. We have nag-type ng Shopee, Happy DTV nga una. Si Happy nga may pasimuno niyan eh. Kaya napasubo tayo. Siya nga yung
Yes,
Happy, Ma'am Kat,
Sir
My Love, Joy Doctor, Ronel Ramos, Sis Rain Rose, Ma'am Kat
Pero yung
ulit.
mga winners dyan, big time na yan kasi
Okay, so ayan, nakapag-type na sila ng coffee. So this time guys, thank you so much. Magkita-kita ulit tayo next week. Wag kayong hindi dadating next week. Women's Month. Ang month ng Feminine Genius. Okay? Kaya, wag tayo magpapahuli next month. Yeah, we will see a lot of empowered women for 40.
Type ng coffee.
Konti lang nag-type ng coffee.
Oo,
Yeah.
wala kasi.
Okay no. Kailangan matuwa ka.
Kaya talaga.
Okay, dahil konti lang nag-type. Alright. So, baka may mag-type lahat ng nanonood dito. Mamatay ka, 1,000 plus ang bibilan mo ng coffee. Alright. So, thank you so much sa lahat. Masaya tong araw na to. Okay? So, hope to see you again next week, Ella. Thank you.
Thank
See
you
you
din,
again, Ella.
Maria.
Oo.
Thank you sa
All
lahat ng team
right.
helpful.
Yeah,
Sir
team helpful,
Romel,
thank you.
Mamdot.
All right. Army, thank you. Our new member, upgrade member pala, upgrade member. All right, in a count of 5 for public service. 1, 2, 5
So,
pala. 3, 4, 5.